Okay guys, good morning. We'll be working on frequency today. So I'll show you some tricks that you can do with Excel, how to create a randomly generated series, how to do frequency analysis with various tools in Excel and so on. Okay? Right, so instead, I won't be doing a lesson from the book today, but I'll be doing a lesson that will talk about a little bit of stats so that if you need it anywhere else, you have it. So I'm trying to kind of mix and match. If you remember, I had talked about average and standard deviation and so on in another class. So I kind of mix and match when the lesson becomes too much or there's not much to do or you've done a big lesson, then I'll come and do something light and then go back to lessons, right? So there is an assignment again today. Let's see how it goes, and time depending, you can either finish it in class or you can take it home. We'll see when we finish the whole lesson. So the lesson is available. The starting file is available on the H drive under H Chawla, RAPP1010, week 6. That is where it is available. And it is also available on Blackboard, right, under your weekly learning. So pick that up and then we'll start working on it. Okay. So there are a few things I've done today, right? So I'll kind of go one by one. I don't know, maybe start with the simpler one and then go to the more complicated one, right? So you will notice that there are a few worksheets here in your workbook. So we'll start with the simplest one. So the aim is how to create frequency tables in Excel, right? And there are a few tools. There's a new one in Excel 2016. So what is frequency? Frequency is simply very useful in many applications that you will do. Frequency simply counts the presence of a certain value in a given data table. So how frequently is this number or these numbers occurring? So if I wanted, for example, in a simple class, if I have a class of 30 and I have marks and I want to say, okay, how many students got between 90 and 100, 80 and 90, above 70, between 70 and 80 and so on, I would do a frequency. And doing frequency would give me an idea of where my classes start, right? So that's what frequency is. Frequency just means how many. In many applications you do, and if you don't have SPSS or if you don't have any other tool, Excel will help you, right? And it does a few things. You can do it like using a formula, which I'll show you what it is. You can, of course, you can create your own charts, but you can also create histograms using the data analysis of Excel. Plus, Excel 2016 has also introduced statistics charts I've seen in the insert. So that's another third option of creating frequency charts. So we'll kind of do all three processes today, all three options that are available, and learn a few more things as we go on. Okay. So if you open up the frequency.excel worksheet on H drive or pick it up from Blackboard, there are three. I'm not sure if there are more. I don't think so. There are three worksheets in this workbook, right? And we'll start with the first one just because it's simple. It's the simplest one. Okay. Do you have 4? Yeah. Maybe because I can't see. I see some dots here. So maybe, yeah, you're right. There are 4. Yeah, there are 4. So there was a nested if. Remember, we've been doing ifs. So I want to kind of do ifs again because it's kind of a little complicated. Ifs. Okay, so let's start with the simplest one. And this, can you see it clearly? No, you can, because what should I do to make it better? As long as you can see better. There. It's strange that why don't I have it at my maximize? Oh, there it is. I thought it was maximize. I was seeing something else. Is that better? Can you see stuff now? Yep. Not bad now. Okay, so let's start with the first one. With the first one. That means the first one, which is the most easy, right? So I'll start with the simple formula of how to calculate the frequency of ranks. We all know ranks, right? So sometimes you will assign ranks, and ranks can be assigned again using a process, but ranks are assigned depending upon the data. So you would say anything that is above 90% will get a rank 1, and anything and so on and so forth. So what I've done is I've just taken, fictitious data, like just for the heck of it. There's nothing important here. All I've done is I've taken some names of people and I've given them a rank. So there's nothing big in the data at all, because the emphasis here is how to use the frequency function. Okay, so remember, using functions in Excel is a big job. You should be able to use them. You should be able to know that they have a name, they have a parameter list, that is, they may or may not want certain number of parameters from you. And what is it expecting in terms of parameters? Is it expecting text? Is it expecting a number? Is it expecting a range, and so on, right? So you have to know about all these things, and functions are a big thing in Excel, because if something is available, if it has already been done for you, why would you do it yourself? So if an average function is available, why would you do the sum, do the count, divide the sum by the count and say, here is my average? So you should avoid that, right? And that's the main purpose. So please play with the functions in Excel. Of course, I can do all of them, but whatever I can, so that you get the hang of it. So I'm going to use a function called frequency today. So all I have to do is I have to count how many ranks 1 in my data, how many ranks 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So a very simple example. And this table is where the ranks are occurring. So if you notice, there are 2 of 1s, there are 3 of 4s, and so on and so forth. Now, if we wanted to do it manually, we could, but that's not what we want to do. We don't want to do it manually. So let's see how to use the frequency function in Excel. Okay, so you notice that I've mentioned the function here. So you know that the function is called frequency. It's taking 2 parameters. Parameters are always separated by commas. And what are these parameters? Let's start to do it. But to use the frequency function, it's a little bit tricky in the sense of how do you use it. So if you wanted to calculate the frequency of all these, you will select all of these together. So you will select the values, not just one cell. So it says highlight the whole column E3 to E7. So you highlight the column. Column means wherever you want to calculate your frequencies. Okay. Now start typing. Go is equal to, so it's highlighted the whole thing. Say is equal to frequency. Notice when I said frequency, it says calculates how often values occur within a range of values, and then returns a vertical arrays of numbers having one more elements than bins array. Now let me tell you what is this bins array. Bins array, I don't know why they've called it bins, but maybe like bins, like buckets, and therefore they've called it a bins array. Now what is an array? An array is basically a collection of items. They could be all numbers, they could be all text, but they have to be of the same type. So all colors will make an array. All marks of my students, because it's the same nature, will make an array. Names of my student will make another array. So you can mix and match arrays. Arrays is either a collection of numbers and its size is fixed, 10, 20, depending upon what are the values inside it, or there could be an array of text. Okay, but you don't mix arrays in, and that's what an array is, just a collection, just a list, if that makes more sense. So it has a fixed size, and then it has some elements inside. Okay, so this bins array, when I do my second sheet, you will see what this bins array is. Bins is just like buckets. It's saying what buckets do you want to make. So the first bucket will have all those numbers that has rank 1, and they are counted. The second bucket will have, the bin will have all the numbers, all the names that have rank 2, and so on. So bins are prepared and then they are counted. So bin 1, how many ones? Bin 2, how many 2, and so on. That's why it's called a bins array. Okay, like that's what I can understand why they called it bins, but that's what they call it. Okay, so it says calculates how often values occur within a range of values, and then returns a vertical array. So you have to keep in mind it's a vertical array it is returning of numbers having one more element than the bins array. Right? Okay, so start typing. You go start your parameters, and notice it takes 2 parameters. Right? So the 2 parameters are what's your data. Right, so the first one is what's your data, where do you want to do it? So there are 2 options. You can select it this way if you like, or you can say B3 colon B14, right? So whatever makes sense to you, and then put a comma. So that's my data array. That is my data array. In this array, in this list, so it's an array of numbers. In this list, I want to find something. What do you want to find? Now the second parameter says the bins array. Bins array says, what am I trying to count in this? You're trying to count these. That's your bins array. Those are your bins. How many in bin 1 for rank 1? Bin 2 for rank 1. In here, the ranks are matching the bin numbers, but it could be anything. I could be looking for how many people got between 90 and 100%. I can do a range. My bins array can be a range, but I'll show you how to do it. Or how many of something. Okay. So the data array is where are you looking? Where is the data? And the bins array is saying what? Which frequency do you want to find? So I'm saying this is my bins array. I want to find out how many ones, how many twos, how many threes, how many fours, and how many fives. Right? That's what I'm saying. So it takes two parameters. If you notice, it takes two parameters. And of course, the type of your bins array will be the same as the type of your data. So if your data is numbers, the bins array will be numbers. If your data is text, the bins will be text. Right? So all people who live in Berry residents could be one bin. People who are coming from Newmarket could be another bin. Right? So things like that. It could be either text or it could be numbers because you could be counting anything. Okay. Okay. Having said that, so put your round brackets. Don't do an enter. Okay. Close it. So you always start with an opening parenthesis. You give your parameters separated by commas in the order it wants it. The order is important. So function, calling a function is very important. The name of the function, opening parenthesis, and the closing one, of course. And then inside it, maybe an empty parameter list, maybe nothing. Or the number of parameters separated by commas in the sequence that is required. You can't swap the two. You can say, well, I'll give the bins array first and I'll give my data array afterwards. You can do it. Because the computer is not smart. It has been told to do this. Take the first parameter, that's your data. Take your second parameter, that's your bin, and do your function. If you switch and you say, what's the big deal? I'm still giving both pieces of data. It won't work. Remember, it's a dumb machine. It has been given instruction and it just follows instruction. And if it can do it, it can do it. Then it will come up with some errors, right? Now, don't press enter yet because it says then press all three together. So the control key, the shift key, and the enter have to be pressed together. And then it will work. If you press the enter, it will not work. Usually you always press enter when you give a function. That's what you do. But remember, here I'm working on a function that is working with two arrays. And my result is also an array. So it's not one value that I'm looking for. I'm looking for a set of values as answer. So since it is a set of values and not a single value, I had to select all the cells where I wanted my answer. I had to, of course, give my formula in the usual way. But instead of just pressing enter, I had to do control, shift, and enter. If you've done it right, and it can take like a little practice, I still mess it up so many times, right? Once you do it right, you will notice that what you see here is the frequency of the various numbers. Because the data is so small, you wouldn't double check every time. If you have hundreds of entries, you're not going to check if it is right. But if I know how to do it, then I'm sure that the answer is right. Okay, so the 1 is occurring twice. We can see the 1 is occurring twice. You can always sort this and it will make your life easy. I'll show you how to sort data also, just as an aside, because it's very common, right? And then 2 is occurring 4 times, it says. So I see 3 here and I see a 4th one here. Right? And then it says 3 is occurring twice, which makes sense. And 4 is occurring 3 times, which I can see again. And 5 is occurring once. Right? So seems to be right. So the frequency function is, this is how you use the frequency function. So the frequency function requires 2 inputs. 1, the data that you are working on. And 2, the most important, the bins array. Because depending upon the bins array, it looks for values in your data. So you have to be careful. So the technique is how to create this bins array. Here it was not so tough, but now that's our next kind of step. Okay. So just as I was mentioning, you can always sort data because it is very important. I'll show you how to sort data in Excel. Suppose I'm writing something like 1, 4, 5, 2, 7, just for the heck of it, right? I'm just sorting data because one way of kind of seeing if your results are right, I could have sorted this column and then it was easier to count. Okay, so how do you sort data? You go A, I'm just writing A, B, C, because I want to kind of bring a few things to your notice. Now you can only sort a column in Excel, like any one column. I could have just taken this column, just single column, and then I would have gone to sort. And there are few here, and you can always go to custom sort. The custom sort is kind of more custom. So it says, oh, I found some data next to it. Are you sure you only want to sort one column and not all columns? I'll tell you why it is asking this question. It's trying to be a little smart. And I'll say, no, yeah, continue, don't worry about it, and say sort. And notice this is custom selection. You can say I'm sorting by rank because this heading was rank. I'm sorting by values. cell colors and font colors and cell icon. I have no clue how it will sort colors. Right? How is it to sorting colors? I don't know. Like I haven't even tried. And then it says, do you want to sort smallest to largest, largest to smallest, or do you want to use a custom list? So if I want to go smallest to largest, I can just say okay. And okay. And notice it has sorted it. So the ones have come together, the twos have come together, the threes, the fours, and the fives. But if that's all you have to do, that's perfectly fine. And that's all I wanted to do. Now it makes a little easy for me. One is occurring twice, three is occurring 4 times, three is occurring. And I mean, human eyes, human beings see things in order much easier than they think random things. So it's easy to do it. But it may not have it. I mean, but the names didn't change. Now it's absolutely wrong data. Adam never had a rank 1. Who knows? I don't even know what Adam, Betty, or whoever had. Right? So I'm going to do, and that's the question it was trying to ask. So I won't disturb this table. So what I've done is I've kind of created a dummy table here. I've started with numbers 1, 4, 5 to 7 in random order, and they have names A, B, C, D, E. Only sort one column. Of course, this person's, we're just thinking they are students, right? So this student had ID 1 and his name is A. This student has 4, his name is B. 5 is a C, 2 is a D, and 7 is an E. So if I only sort this column, it's not logical. Sorting means you should sort the whole data, right? That's what sorting means. I mean, you can't say, if I only sort this column, and I can do it, I can just go sort. And it will always ask. But now, student number 1 has name A, which may not be correct at all. Student number 2 has name B, but I've messed it up. And that's not what you want to do. So if you want to sort more than one columns of data, all you do is this, pick both of them together. Right? Pick both of them. And that's exactly what Excel was asking. It was saying, are you sure you know what you're doing? You don't want to sort the data next to it because it is assuming that they are correlated. Right? So I say, okay, pick it up and I'll do a sort again. And then I'll show you a custom sort if you like, because there are more options there. So what you can do by sort is it is saying, do you want to sort the column which starts with 1 or the one which starts with A? If it had names, it would give you names. So now it is giving you the option. Which columns do you want to sort on? Right? So if I say I want to sort on the column which has 1 as its, so it's not a good idea. It's always a good idea to give names. But anyway, I say 1. Yes, I want to sort on values. I want to go from smallest to largest. I do an OK. Notice the data on its right. And that's how you would sort if required. I'm not saying that's the right way because it will depend upon what you're trying to sort. But if you're trying to sort some data, you will usually sort all the columns because otherwise, if you're only sorting a column, you've messed up the values of the data in the. This is called sorting. Right? This is what is called sorting. So you could sort on one field, you could sort on multiple fields also. You'll say, now what is multiple fields? Have you heard of sorting on multiple fields? I could have something else here. Let's say, what can I do? I don't know. Therefore, relevant data is very important. Let's go 5, 2, 9, and 11. Right? I'll give them some names. I'll just call them very silly names because I can't think of something else. I'm going to call it column 1, column 2, and column 3. There. Okay. Right? So now if I sort, I'm going to take all 3 together. I'm going to go to my sort. You can always choose, if this is what you are interested in, you can always say sort smallest to largest. And it will sort it, right? And it always picks up the first one and sorts on the first field. That's what it does by default. That's what it does. So if that's what you want to do, then you don't even have to go into custom, right? So pick up your data. If you just pick up these options from here, it will always sort on the first column by default. In the custom sort, you have an option. It says, do you want, I didn't select the column names. Okay, anyway, it says, do you want to sort the column which starts with 1 with A or 5? Kind of look at it. It's kind of saying here. So it's saying, do you want to sort on this column? Do you want to sort on this column? And do you want to sort on this column? That's what it is saying. If I say that's what I want to sort on, and it will say, okay, that's okay. But you can also do this. You can add another level. And what does that mean? It says first sort on 1, 2, 4, 5, and 7. It's already sorted from the previous one. Anyway, so first sort on the first column, and then within that sort in the second one, and within that on the third level, and within that on the fourth level. You say, how will that arise? It can arise. Suppose I had some data for weekdays. Things were occurring on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? So I have data weekdays. inside weekdays, maybe I have classes, the classes that you take in a week, maybe Anju's class and Tim's class and whoever's, right? And then maybe after that, the number of assignments you've done in that month or something. So now if I wanted to sort it, I would try to sort it this way to make it easy to read. I would put all Mondays, all Tuesdays, all Wednesdays together. So that would be my major first field on which I'm sorting. And then within those, I would like to sort all Mondays. I would like to sort by name of the person. Why? Because again, it's easy. For humans, it is easy. Then it will be Anju, and then maybe there is something called Adam, right? Adam will come before Anju, and then will come Tim and so on. So it will become. So the level 1 says what's the first column you want to sort on. Then within that, so in Mondays, do you want to again sort on something? Yeah, I want to sort on names, right? Then within names, do you want to sort on a third level and fourth level and fifth level, and you can go on. These are called levels, right? And this is called multiple sorting. So you can always do that, right? So all months, I will say, no, I don't want to do that. I want to sort on names first. You can do that too. So I'll say sort on names first, then in names sort on weekdays, and then in weekdays sort on whatever number of days. So let's try that because it's making a little more sense. So let's cancel this. Let's kind of start putting names here, right? So weekday or something. So let's say weekday, just so that because it is making more sense. Okay, so within weekdays, though I won't have a lot of data. Within weekdays, let's say something, the name of the teacher. Right? And then I'll kind of go or whatever. It's just better to kind of give them a constant column width, a better one. It just makes it better. Teacher spelling is wrong. How bad can I get? Right? And then here maybe number of assignments you did in that particular week or something, right? And I can always sum it up. I mean, I'm just making it up, nothing else. Oh, that seems to be short. And of course, you can all center it and do whatever you want. I want to bring something to your notice because again, I'm checking the second assignment. Don't try to be lazy. Don't try to say NO of assignments. I mean, we know that NO is a short form for number, but why should you do it? How long does it take to type number? So don't use your own short forms and assume that the world knows about it, right? And NO also without a dot. I've seen an NO, so that's a no. That's not a number anyway, right? It's not a number anyway. So you're calling a column NO, and then in your graph it says pizza number. So there is no correlation, right? So when you're using text in your tables or in your charts, please don't be lazy. It won't pay, right? So NO dot makes no sense. Number definitely makes sense to it. So don't be lazy. It's so bad. So it's the same as saying, oh, instead of Katrina, I'll call you Cat. Many of us do it, right? You know what I mean? But her name is still Katrina. Why should we do that? Just for just because we are being lazy. I don't want to learn difficult names, so I say, oh, Cat is easy, and I'll use Cat. Okay. So even if you do the smallest job, even if you do the smallest thing, try to be neat and clean. How long does it take? It doesn't take that long, right? So see now how my data is. I can center it all, and it starts to look presentable. How much time? Not even a minute. So even if you're doing something really small, creating a chart or creating a table or adding a column to a table, try to see that it matches the table. It matches the format of the table. It looks like a part of the table, right? So it doesn't take a long. Okay. So now let's go weekdays. We'll go Monday. Oh, the only thing is Monday, Tuesday, do they go okay? MNOPQRST. Okay, we'll see now. Let's see. I'll use a custom list. So there is a Monday, then there is a Tuesday. I need more data, of course. Then there is another Monday. Then there is a Wednesday. Bless you. And then there is another Monday. And then there is another, I don't know. I'll keep the 3 days, okay? Otherwise, it will become too much for me. There's another Tuesday. And so how many? I have 3 Mondays. I have 2 Tuesdays. Let me do another Wednesday. Okay, and the name of the teacher now. Okay, so Anju teaches on, of course, I don't teach on Monday, but I'll try to put myself in Monday, and I'll try to put myself again in Monday, and then I'll try to put Tim on Monday again, right? Okay, so that way I know it should be Anju, Anju, Tim when it gets sorted. Now for Tuesday, I'll just use names from my department. Jared teaches on Tuesday. Jared also teaches on Wednesday. And on Tuesday, there's another person who's teaching on Tuesday. Let me call him Rick. Except that Rick is R. I mean, I'm showing you that they will not. I mean, here by chance it was Anju, Anju, and Tim in that order. You could change it. So anybody, Kim, no, I, J, K, no, A, B, C, cat there. And on Wednesday, let's go. Wednesday, who was teaching? Jared was again teaching on Wednesday. So let's go Anju again here. I can always do it afterwards. I should have. Okay, now the number of assignments, of course, you can kind of do whatever you like. So Anju did on Monday 1 assignment. Jared did 2 small ones. Anju again did 1 and 3 and 2 and 4. Kat did a lot of assignments and 1 by chance. So these were not formatted when I formatted them. It's always a good idea to format it afterwards. Okay, so my data is ready, right? Now there are 2 options. You could actually also do it on assignments, but my aim is this. You can sort on the day of the week, like Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, and I'm going to see a custom list because otherwise, if I just sort it by smallest to largest, who will come first? Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. MN, P, Q, R, S, T. Oh, they will come Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. By chance it will come, right? But I mean, that's by chance that it is coming, but we can always use a custom list, and that's where we can show it. So I'll show all Mondays, all Tuesdays, and all Wednesdays. And inside that, I want to also sort by name. So if it is Anju, Anju, Tim, or if it is Anju and Jared, and Kat and Jared, and so on. So I want to sort that too. So let's do this. So select your data. Select your data. Right? Don't select this one because it will then become the part of data. Or there should be an option, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember. Is there an option on? Yeah, my data has headers. There it is. So if you do this, then you can select your headers also. Okay, so let's do that. That way, at least, why? Because you will see that the column names also come. So let's sort it, do a custom sort. And if you unclick it, it will become a part of your data, which you don't want. And if you click it, it will be your header. Okay, now see the use of giving headings are, it makes it easy here. See, now they're called weekday, name of teacher, and number of assignments. So if you have an option, and we have an option of giving headers, include it and then say my data has headers, and then you can see this way. So it is saying, okay, what do you want to sort on first? I could sort on the name of the teacher, doesn't matter. You can try whatever you like, right? If I do that, all Anjus will come together, all Jareds will come together, Cats, and then Tim. So let's try that first. I say, I want to sort on the name of the teacher, right? It says, okay, A to Z. And I'm thinking, yeah, there will be a custom list here. And I'm hoping we can get something for weekdays is my thing. But here we are okay. Name of the teacher does go from A to Z. The values, I have no clue. I'll have to look up what these cell colors are. So that's my first level. If I just do that, all I'll do is, all you will see is all Anjus will come, right? That's all it will happen. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something because otherwise how will we check our answers? I'm going to do a Control C and I'm going to do a Control V. Okay, so that way at least we can always check our answers. So there, go to sort, custom sort. Yes, my data has head. Yes, it has. Oh, no, I didn't include them. Sorry about that. No, I did. I did include it. So sort. Okay, it should come up here. Okay, it is. It was just not showing the, by default, it was not showing any value. Okay, so if I say name of teacher, and that's all I want to do, I'm good. I do an okay. And see how? Anju, 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 Cat, Jared. And please notice, pick up any record. Please notice that other data has also changed. So there was a Monday, Anju, and 1. Then there should have been another Monday, Anju, and 1. And there was a Wednesday, Anju, and 1. So the whole data changes, and that's exactly what you want. You don't want to sort a column and the rest of the data just sits where it was. It's absolutely incorrect. Let's try this now. So let's do it. So that makes sense. It's a normal sort. Okay, let's try this now. Let's again try going and doing more than one sorts because you may require it. So let's do it on weekdays first, and then you add a level. And then let's do it on name of the teacher second and A to Z. I'm trying to see if what does custom list have. Oh yeah, okay, so you can create a custom list and sort it on that. So you could do it on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I'm okay here because by chance, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday are in sequence, automatically in sequence. Otherwise, what would you do? You would use this one. right? Which is okay. So pick up this one and say an okay. So that's the meaning of custom list. So you're saying, please sort according to this order. So Sunday comes before Monday, Monday comes before Tuesday, Tuesday comes before Wednesday, and so on. If you don't have a custom list, create one. We know how to create a custom list, and you can use that list to sort. Okay, so I'm sorting my weekdays by Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, which works either way, but this is the right way of doing it. And then I'm going to sort by teacher inside that, and I'm going to say okay, and see what happens. All Mondays come together, and within Mondays, Anju and Tim are sorted. You see, so there is 2 levels of sorting. Then come Tuesday, and within Tuesday, Kat and Jarrett are sorted, though it was not the case here. Kat was here and Jarrett was before her. So that's why I was trying to put it in a different order. And then come all Wednesdays, and then within Wednesdays, then Anju and Jarrett again come in the order. This is called more than one levels of sorting. And you will need it many a times. So now you know how to do it. So you can, if there are numbers or if there are letters, it's a normal sorting, but you could always create your own custom sorting. I could have even done this. If there were 2 Anjus and there was a 1 here and there was a 2 here, I could say now sort within Anju also sorted by ranks, by number of assignments. I could even do that. So you can go to any level of sorting that you like, right? Any level of sorting. And if by chance you want to change something, please remember, you can always start, and then if you change your mind, you can always delete. And this is something that you are kind of forgetting in assignments. So, and you're trying things, which is perfectly fine, right? For example, if I say, okay, now format my column, and I've given you some conditional format. I say, format it according to maybe anybody who gets more than 10 marks is pink, anybody who gets more than 20 is green, and so on. So you're trying stuff. Now, when you're trying stuff, it's perfectly fine. I need 4 rules, but when I go and look inside an assignment, there are 20 rules there because people have been trying. So try, that's perfectly fine. But when you give an assignment to me, if I'm only looking for 4 rules, marks between 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, and 40 to 50, I only want to see 4 rules. And you're giving me 20 rules, they're all there. Delete them. You can always delete a rule by selecting it, and there should be a delete up there, and delete it. You'll say, but it works. It works because what it does, it starts scanning the rules. The first rule that matches, it will condition it. It will give you the color or whatever you've said, and it ignores the rest. So you're kind of saying, oh, it works, so it's untidy, it's fine. It's not fine at all. Because when I'm marking your assignment, I need 4 rules, and I'm seeing 20 rules there. I'm saying, don't they know what they were doing? You know what I mean? So be careful. So if something is not required, always, there will always be an option of deleting it. There will always be an option. For example, let me show you what I'm trying to say. So this is sorting. Make sense? So you should know how to sort data in Excel. Now you know how to sort data. So you can sort numbers, you can sort text, you can sort on custom lists. So whatever you like. You can sort on a level, you can sort on more than one levels. And keep in mind that we always sort the complete table as per se, the complete data, because otherwise things will not be at the right place. Now let me show you what I was talking about, conditional formatting. And again, you have to be very careful. I don't want to pick up somebody's assignment. You know what I'll do is I'll pick up my own. I mean, where I asked you to do it, and then I'll show you. Let me finish this first. So that's about frequency. It was about frequency, but sorting, because I just said you could sort it and see if your answers are right. All clear about the frequency function? Just be a little careful that you're getting an array of values. The return output is an array, a list. So you just don't give the formula and do an enter. You only get a single value. If you don't do this, if you don't press all these 3 together and you just press the enter key, you will only get one value, like you do in all other functions. But since the result here is a collection, an array it is called, so that you know what the term means, an array of values, therefore we use this technique of Control Shift and Enter. So select first where you want to show your answers, write your function, and then just do this Control Shift and Enter. Frequency function in its easiest form. It wasn't tough at all. Let's go to the second one now. Now in the second one, I have told you, you know what? This is much easier. So I'm going to shift it here. I'm just going to change the sequence because this is much easier than this third one. We'll go in terms of complexity. Okay, now let's look at this one. Let's look at this one now. So what I've done here is I have some random marks, right? And these random marks, I didn't type them in. Nobody wants to type them in their right mind. So does Excel give me a way of doing this, just creating some random numbers in a certain range? Yes. So let's learn that first, because I've already given it to you because I wanted that all of us had the same data. Because randomness means if you create your own list and I create my own list, of course our data may not match. Then we won't have the same answers. So this was created for you. But how did I create that list? I definitely didn't type it in, right? And if you bring your mouse over it, notice how it has a bigger value. So if I kind of increase this, that's the value inside the cell. And that's why I'm going to round it. Okay. But these values were not typed in by me. This is what you can do whenever you want to generate a random number of numbers. Okay. So this is how you do it. You pick up wherever you want to save it. You go to your data, go to data analysis. We all have this now. Remember, we had included it. I think the college computers have it anyway. So go to your data analysis. In the data analysis, you will see something called random number generation, right? So I want to create a list of random numbers. That's all I'm trying to do, because I have done this here already for you, and I want to show you how I did it because it will come handy. So go random number generation and do an OK. Okay, now it is saying how many variables are you working with? I hope all of you understand variables, like how many of them are you working with? For me, I only want one column, so I'm working with one variable. How many number of random numbers do you want? I want 10 of them, right? Now, what is the distribution? Now, again, this is kind of knocking on your stats a little, stats background, which you're doing, but I'll use something that is very simple and mathematical. I'll say I want a uniform distribution. So uniform says, okay, between what and what? So I want to generate random numbers between 5 and 10. I'm saying give me 10 random numbers uniformly distributed between 5 and 10. Yes. Random number generation it is called. Okay, right? So I'm using the uniform one because I understand it and it is easy. I don't remember all my distributions, normals and Bernoulli and so on. But creating normal distribution will be very handy. Most of the data in today's world, 90% follows normal distribution. If you kind of, somebody has talked to you about it, right? 90% of data in the world follows 90 or 90 something, it was above 90, follows normal distribution. That's what it is assumed. Okay, so what am I saying? I'm saying give me, I have the number of variables is 1. So one column I'm looking for, kind of. The number of random numbers I want is 10. You could say 100, you could say 20, doesn't matter, 15, whatever you like. The distribution I am going to use is uniform. There are other options. So you could create a normal distributed random numbers if you were going to do something with a normal distribution. Right? How many? Oops, how many? Between 5 and 10. And output options. Will you give me an output range? Right? So I'll say, oh, now this random seed. I don't know how it is easy, how easy it is to explain, but let me explain it like a layman. Okay? It happens in computer languages all the time. So let me try to kind of give you an idea what this seed is, what this random seed is. Of course, you can go and read about it and get a little more information. Now, the computer is a machine, right? It's not a human being. So if you say, Anju, give me 5 random numbers, I'll say 10, 6, 1, 3, 4. I'll kind of just say them randomly. If you ask me the same question again, Anju, give me 5 random numbers between 1 and 10. That's what I'm doing. I'll say, okay, 9, 2, 3, 1, 2. I'll just kind of spit them out. Every time I can give you a different list. That's what I do. But the computer is using an algorithm, and algorithms have to be definite, right? So the computer is using an algorithm to create 5 or 10 or whatever number of random numbers between a certain range. Now, since it is a machine and the algorithm that it is using is fixed, it's not a human being that can come up with anything anytime. You will see that if I write a program or if you try to create random numbers many number of times, you will start to see a pattern. It will give maybe 1, 2, 6, 2, 1, and after maybe 5 runs, it will again give the same pattern. Maybe after 5 runs, it will again give the same pattern because it is using the same algorithm, right? So these are actually called pseudo-random numbers. They look like random, but they're actually not random completely. So this random seed is a value that is provided. If you provide it to the computer, every time you say, this is my seed, this is where you start. So it uses the seed and it kind of changes the random numbers that are generated every day. So you won't see a pattern. It won't repeat itself. Right? So it is highly recommended that you give a seed. The seed could be any number, 5, 25, 300. But of course, it will depend upon what kind of random numbers are you generating. Am I generating floating real numbers? Am I generating integers? What is the range and so on? So there is more to it. But that's what seed means. What it is trying to say is, think of it as like a layman. If you put a seed of mango, a mango tree will grow. If you put a seed of apple, an apple tree will grow. So though they're both growing, it's the same process. The trees are growing because you seeded them with different seeds. They will grow different vegetables or fruits. Same kind of concept here. If you don't seed it, it will automatically take a seed which has been given to it in its algorithm, a fixed seed, and therefore we say it will, in a way, after a few runs, you will start seeing it is creating the same random numbers. Because the algorithm is the same, the rules are the same, the seed is the same, how will things differ? Right? But if you give it a random seed every time, you are expecting it to create a different set of random numbers every time. But it is still following the same algorithm. Therefore, whenever we create random numbers, we usually give it a seed, because the seed will make it a little different. That's what a random seed is. Right? So it does require a little more understanding of random number generation in computers. But in a sense, random numbers are not entirely random numbers in computers. They are pseudo-random numbers. They look like random numbers, but they're not always different from each other. Okay? That's what the seeding means. Okay, so you could seed it if you like with 3 one time, 5 with other time, but that's what seeding is. I am recording it. Right, I am. Nobody reminded me, but I am. I just remembered it. Yeah. So these things will come handy if you see it somewhere. Okay. So that's what seeding means. So I haven't done it in Excel a lot because as you know, I'm a programmer, but I keep doing it in my programming a lot. So I know what seed means. Okay. But that's what it is. Keep in mind, if I was a robot and every time you say Anju generate 5 random numbers, the algorithm to generate those 5 numbers have been in kind of hard coded inside me. So I'll always come up with the same random numbers. The algorithm is same. Pick up the first one, leave 3 values, pick up the fourth one. Now leave 2, pick up the third one. So the algorithm won't change, right? So therefore, I'll always give you the same random numbers. You'll say, oh, I got random numbers, but you know what? It's not random numbers. But every time if you say Anju can generate 5 random numbers, but now don't start with 1. The seed is 3. So now, of course, my numbers will be different. There will be 3, then I will leave 4 of them, then give you the 5th one, leave 2. So you'll see I'll get a different list. So seeding becomes different. And that's exactly how algorithms work. So they're still pseudo-random numbers. They're still called pseudo. Pseudo means a little fake, but they are random numbers. Just for your information. Okay, so it says, where do you want it? I'll kind of keep it here. I'll just give this range. I mean, I could select all 10, but it will automatically fill the 10. And if you want to go to a new worksheet, you can say that is where I want to go. If you want to go to a new workbook, there is where you can. But for me, output range is okay. And do an okay. Notice it has given you it by default. I think it takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 places after decimal. It takes 9 places. That's its default nature. Create and notice all these random numbers are between 5 and 10. They are all random numbers between 5 and 10. Now you'll say, oh, I wanted integers. Now it's giving me real values. What do I do? Round them. You can round them. What's the big thing? Or try some other option. I know about uniform. Try something else. Maybe they give you integers. Right? So, but it's not so difficult to round them. And that happens all the time. When I give you marks, when I give my students marks, sometimes they come in, I mean, not every time, but when we finalize it, if the percentage, if the total marks is coming as a part, we always round it. We always do that. Okay? And again, if you're going to work with integers, guys, the answer is an integer, usually. I mean, if it is, so if I'm saying the salary is integer and you're forming a bin, be careful that it has to be done a certain way. Okay, so that's how I generated these random numbers for your information. So now you know how to generate random numbers in Excel. A very handy tool. Why? Because you'll be needing it many times. Any time you want to check something quickly, random numbers is the easiest way to go. Okay, so let's go. Yeah.
Just so I drop this down, it's, I mean, quickly.
Yeah.
How did you get that?
How did I get that? Select a cell wherever you want to print, wherever you want to create them. Go to data.
Okay.
Then from data to data analysis. From data analysis, choose random number generation. Right? And then you say an okay, and then you fill in your parameters here. I chose to go uniform. And of course, they will have different. Discrete kind of is also kind of making a little sense, but oh, okay, it talks about value and probability input range. I'll keep away from that. Wherever some stats comes in, it's been a while since I used it. So I recognize normal distribution, and in the normal distribution, it is asking for mean and standard deviation, which is not as if it's very tough, right? So it will pick up whatever you want. I picked up uniform, and I said I want random numbers. I want 10 random numbers from 5 to 10, between 5 and 10, including 5 and 10. That's what between means. It includes both. You may get it, you may not get it. I didn't get a 5 or a 10, but I got 5 point something, 6 point something, 7 point something, 8 point something, 9 point something. I did. Right? So that's how you create it. Okay, and okay. So this is the first column. Now, how do I round it to a whole number? What do you do? Use a function. You go is equal to, remember the round function? Okay, it says what number do you want to round until what number of digits? I want to round this number. And how many digits do I want after the decimal? 0, because I want to round it to a whole number. Right? I want to round it to a whole number. So remember, it will change the value of the number. Format, if you format a cell, it doesn't change what is inside the cell. It just changes its appearance. But rounding is changing the number. So when you do this and you do an enter, so 36.6 has become a 37. Normal rule of rounding. Anything 5 or more goes to the upper side. Less than 5 goes to the lower side. And take that and copy that formula till the end. There it is. I've rounded it. Right? So the round function basically says which number do you want to round and how many places do you want after the decimal. So if I say comma 0, I'm saying change it to an integer. If I wanted 1, I would have said comma 1. If I wanted 2, I would have said comma 2. Right? So round actually changes the number. If you click on this cell, what's inside? Of course, these are formulas, but the values inside this cell, if I kind of say is equal to, show me this cell, the value is 37, right? The value is 37. Whereas this cell, even if I format, just for the heck of it, I'll format it for you. So if I say general format, and no, let's do number format, and I say, I think 2 places after decimal. Notice it becomes 36.60. But if you click on the cell, the value inside the cell is still 36.60, whatever. So when you do a calculation with this cell, it is still going to use 36.6033 times to whatever. It's not going to use 36.60. So formatting is different from rounding. They're two different things. Formatting is just for display, for beauty, to make it pretty. Rounding is you're actually changing the contents of the cell, and of course your calculations will change. Okay, having said that, let's do that. That's how you round. Okay, now comes the result column. The result says, look at what I want in the result column. It says if the rounded mark is greater than or equal to 50, then it is a pass, else it is a fail. So I think I took from something to 100 is what I took. I can't remember now. Yeah, but I see 70s and 60s and I see 50s and I see a 36 also. So I think I must have taken it from 1 to 100. Therefore, anything greater than 50 is a pass, otherwise it is a fail. Okay. Draw a frequency table to show the distribution of marks. Draw a line chart and a bar chart to represent this information. Charting is, I leave it to you. It's too complicated. Further, use the histogram option from the data analysis to create a frequency chart. Okay, so now let's do the frequency. You will say, now this one is easy. Okay, how do I say? The person has passed or failed. I don't want to say, oh, 37 is less than 50. I'll type a fail here. I don't want to do that. I want you to use what? If. Remember your if function? Okay, if what now? If the value of this cell is greater than equal to 50. Remember, if had 3 parts, the condition, which could be a simple condition, or you could have a compound condition using and, ors, and nots. Then what happens if it is true? What happens if it is false? So you are saying assign to this cell, this is my logical test. Is my value of C5 greater than or equal to 50? Now, if you don't want to put 50 here, which you shouldn't, you should actually put it in a labeled cell, something like criteria. And if you don't want to, that's fine, but then hide it from me and put a 50 here. And then instead of using 50 in your formula, maybe you can call this cell as criteria or something, or at least you know that it is called H6 and use the absolute addressing H6. Right? So if you're going to put numbers like this in your worksheet, like magic numbers like this, which are not making sense to me, it's untidy. I don't know what it is. So whenever you're going to use named constants, for example, I would like you to put it in a cell. There are two options. One, you either give it a heading so that I know, oh, this is what she's talking about, and don't put it all over the worksheet. Kind of make a maybe row at the end or a column on the right hand side where you're putting all your constants so that they make sense. They mean something. If you just put some random values on your worksheet without telling me what it is, it's so odd. And then you're using it in your formulas. So how am I supposed to know what they mean? But if you now say criteria, I say, oh, this is the criteria for pass or fail. Right? So be careful about these small things. They're small, but they make sense. If I don't have this, and I'm just using the cell H6 here, the person is guessing that, oh, she's trying or he's trying to compare it with 50. 50 is their passing percentage. Now the question is right here, but who knows what you are trying to do? So I could say something like passing mark here. Here. Now it makes complete sense, right?
Would you rather have us put the title in, or to name the actual cell?
Both things are required, but the title is important because it doesn't make sense otherwise. Or the third option is, put it in a particular column or row and hide it. And then give it a name passing mark, and when you use it in your formula, it makes complete sense to the person who's reading it. Right? Now, this is too much work. You will say, oh, I give it a heading, then I give it a value, then, but it's clarity or too much work. And clarity wins. Efficiency always wins. Right? So you could do this way, and again, not all over the worksheet. Designate a column, designate a row, put all your constants in there. It makes sense. And give them names. So definitely, I would have liked you to call the 50 mark itself as a passing mark, and you can do that. All that you have to do is come here and change it. How long does it take? Okay, so it is saying you must enter a valid reference. I think there are rules and I forget them, but I don't think you can give a blank. I think you can give a underscore. Yeah, blanks are not allowed in names. You can use letters, you can use digits. It must be somewhere in my first lesson, maybe. You can use letters, you can use digits, but you cannot leave a blank in it. And if you can't remember, all you have to do is look it up. And they're called naming rules or names. So all you do is you can kind of go naming rules Excel. Define a name for a cell, select the cell, range of cells or whatever, click the name box, type the name that you want to use to refer. Names can be up to 255 characters long. That's all it says. It doesn't say anything else. Define and use names. Let's look at any, learn more about using names, about syntax rules. Valid characters, there they are. Valid characters, the first character of a name must be a letter, an underscore character or a backslash. So you can start. So there are always rules. Like our names have rules, don't they? We don't have names with digits in there. 1, 2, 3. Right? So every name has some rules. You know what I mean? So similarly, names in all languages, in Excel, all software you will use will always have some rules. And usually rules are kind of common for programming languages, so I know about them. I know you can put a blank there. Because it doesn't understand a blank. It says, oh, it's broken. So if I say Anju blank Chawla, it won't recognize Chawla because it has come after blank because it's stopping kind of delimited. But I was thinking maybe Excel is like a software program, it will. But here are your rules. The first character of a name must be either a letter, an underscore, or a backslash. So you can start your name with either these three. Remaining characters in the names can be letters, numbers, periods, and underscore. So you can't put a blank. So there are your rules. And the maximum length is 255 characters. Lowercase, uppercase doesn't matter. It is not case sensitive. This is called not being case sensitive. So Anju in all small, Anju in all caps, Anju with A capital, N small, everything is Anju. So that's called case insensitivity. So it doesn't say anything about case sensitive. You cannot use, so it is case insensitive. That's what I said. You can't, to Excel, small r is no different from capital R. So it's the same in Excel. I'm only talking Excel right now because they're used as shorthand and so on. Cell references disallowed. Names cannot be the same as a cell reference. You can't call a cell $100 or R1C1 because these are cell references. R1C1 are cell references. Spaces are not valid. So, right. So anytime you kind of get stuck, all you have to do is look it up. Where was I? There was I, right? So This is something again that I would like you to keep in mind for all your assignments, because again, I'm noticing it in assignment 2. In your pizza price, every price had to go up by 30%, and then there was a $2.12 of flat increase. So I've already given those values to you. They were already on the sheet. You could have, and they were given names, so you just had to use them. But a couple of students chose to take that values and put it randomly on the worksheet and just use them. And I have no clue what they are. You know what? I have no clue. But if there is a heading, percentage increase in pizza price, I know what it is. So whenever you need constants in your, these are called named constants. Whenever you need named constants in your worksheet or your workbook, whatever, wherever you need it, put them in a row or in a column, and then hide that if you like, or give them titles. But that's how you should be doing. Everything must make sense to whoever is reading your text. If I just see two random numbers, 50 and 100, sitting on your sheet, I'm saying, what are these numbers? I may even remove them because they're looking so untidy, right? So this field is called passing mark now. So this becomes too much, but at least I know what I'm doing. So now in my result, what do I want to say? Now use your if. If this cell is greater than equal to, remember your relational operators? Relational operator said, oh, another thing that we figured out that day, was it with your class, I think, or was it with my other, I can't remember. Don't leave a blank after the name of the function. So don't go if and then a blank and then the opening parenthesis. I think it was in Excel. It was very touchy, right? So no blanks between the name of the function and this. I can't remember now. Anyway, and it is greater than whom. So if you kind of know what it is, you can start doing a P and it will show you passing mark. If you can't remember the names you gave to your cell, I'll show you where you can always find them. Okay. So if you're saying if it is greater than or equal to the passing mark, this person has passed. So you want to put pass. It's a text. So put it in quotes. If you wanted to put a number, we would have said 1 without quotes. Okay. So put pass in the cell, else put fail in the cell. That's the function you want to do. That's if function. So the if function says if C5, the value in C5 is greater than or equal to the passing mark, and see how now I exactly know what you're talking about. So please don't use magic numbers in your function. I don't want to see a 50 anywhere. I want to see what it is. What are you trying to do? Why? The use is if I change this 50 to 60, I just have to do it here. I don't have to go and change the formula. I just do it. And everybody knows now the passing mark is 60. It makes sense. It just makes sense. And then do an enter. And this person has failed. And then you take this and drag into the rest of the, and there you are. Right? That's your pass and fails. So that's your normal if function that we did last week. Okay, so just one condition, only one condition, no, nothing else. Okay, so my table is now ready. So I've done a rounded mark. Then it says draw a frequency table to show the distribution of marks. And I've kind of created one for you. And again, please notice how everything has a heading. If you're showing me a data analysis chart and it doesn't have a heading, don't expect me to understand that that's a data analysis chart. If your columns don't have a heading, I have no clue what they are. Don't assume I know everything. I know nothing. When I'm marking your assignment, even then I know nothing. When I'm marking your assignment, I don't know anything. So you convey the information to me. So you say, this is my data analysis chart. You tell me my first column is a measure and my second column is a value. I don't want to see a data analysis chart with nothing at all. Like, it's so untidy. I'm not playing a guessing game with you guys. Don't play a guessing game with me. Exactly tell me this is my data analysis chart. This is column. I don't know if you remember, but if you just draw a data analysis chart, look how untidy it is. If you go to a data analysis chart and you go to what we did, descriptive statistics, and I do an okay. And I'm just picking up, okay, just for the heck of it to show you. If I pick up this range here, and I say group by columns, I say output range, I'll just put it somewhere to show you, nothing else. And I say, show me the summary statistics. And I say, okay. How neat is that chart? You tell me. If I give this chart to you and I say, okay, now figure out what it is. And notice, I can't even see things. Notice how my values are also, like my headings are also incomplete. But how neat is this chart? You tell me. I mean, not from your viewpoint. Is it making any sense? No. It doesn't have a name, doesn't tell me what it is. You could say something like data analysis chart, or you could say something like descriptive statistics, something. Is the heading column 1 making any sense? No. It was not. So don't do this in your assignments. Not in assignment, don't do this. Make a practice of doing it the right way. Then you'll never go wrong in the long run. Start right, make your habits good to start with, and you'll never make mistakes. But if this is what you're giving me and you're expecting me to guess that this is your, I know it is, but I don't know, right? So this is your data analysis chart and these are your statistics and those are your values. I'm not guessing. I'm going to dock off marks, maybe even 25%, because it doesn't make sense. I said I want to see a data analysis chart. That's what you mean. At all. I don't understand what it means. And all you have to do is put a heading here, take these columns, and all you have to, I mean, it's just a simple job. We can delete this. We can unmerge them. They have been merged. So we unmerge, oops, sorry. We unmerge them. Where is it? Insert, page layout. I can't, always I forget where my, because the sizes become so different. There it is. That's the unmerge. Unmerge them. Now you have two columns. Give something like stats here or statistic here or whatever you want to call it. How long does it take? And give the value here. How long has it taken? Give it a heading here. Merge these cells. And then write your heading as statistics or whatever, something, data analysis chart or statistics chart or something, descriptive statistics. Okay. How long did that take? Not even a minute. Now we know that, and of course you can make it more pretty. You can all make it pretty. You can format it if you like. You can give it a background if you like. You can give it a border on both the right and left if you like. All borders. See, it starts to look so neat. You can give a color here if you like. You can make this broader if you like. Like you can just give it, make it bold if you like. Change the size a little bit. Make it a little bigger. There. Done. It started making sense now. It's a chart that shows the statistics and that shows a value. But I mean, if you kind of do this and you expect me to read values, I'm not making the effort. I don't want to make the effort. The client is paying you, otherwise he could do stuff himself or herself. I'm paying you, the client is paying you to make it easy for him to live and learn. He has no time to make sense of anything. So don't go ST for standard deviation. Don't go K for kurtosis. Like you are lazy. That could be then it will, in class, it will take away marks. And in real life, it will take away money. It will always be your loss. Okay, so learn to do things right. Okay, where was I? Sorry, I always come back. I always go tangents, but then there's small things that I want you to understand. Okay, now it says, now the next question says, draw a frequency table to show the distribution of marks. Now the distribution could have been anything. The distribution could have been from 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, or 1 to 25. I could do quarters. 1 to 25, 25, 26 to 50, 51 to 70. It could be anything. What I've done for you is I've created how I want to see them. And again, something to bring to your notice. If 39 is included here, it is not included in this range. You can't include the same number in two places. So notice how I'm saying from 30 to 39, less than equal to 39 goes in my first one. And from 40 to 49 goes in my second one. And I'm not saying 49.999. I don't need to. My marks are already integers. Why would I create a range of 49.9999? I've already said salary is in integers. I've already said marks are in integers. Why would you create from 30 to 39.9999? Doesn't make sense. There is no mark between 30. It's an integer. There is nothing. There is no mark in fractions. So again, what you're creating has to match the data. Or what I tell you is, so if I say salaries are whole numbers, please create a frequency chart according to it. And again, assignment 2 had it. There was something to do. I can't remember. Oh, there was the salary, the second one, the salary distribution. So why would I create a marks range which is not required? Why would I say 39.99? You're saying, oh, she forgot this. Oh, sorry. You forgot this. A student may get 39.1, 39.5, 39.6. I've told you, no, they cannot. These are the marks. Do you see any numbers, any part marks in it? No. So don't create those ranges. It's not wrong, but it's not 100% correct. You'll say it works. There are no marks in that range, so ignore it. They are ignored. But I say no, that's you're not doing it the right way. So something is perfect and something is works. I'm looking for perfection. You're system analyst, you can't say it works. All your work has to be perfect in any phase of life. It's not that now you're at a higher stage. Even if it was your first job, if I was teaching you, I would always say do everything perfectly. Right? Okay. So I've created a range here. I've created this range for you because that's what I want to see. So how many students are falling in the range of 30 to 39? Then I'm not including 39 in my second range. I'm saying from 39 to 49. Then I'm saying from, what did I do here? 50 to 59. Please change that. Sorry about that. 50 to 59. Have I made a mess somewhere else? 39, 49, 59, 69, 70. No, okay. The rest are okay. So that was a typo. Please see that you make that change. You can, I mean, you can mess it up, your ranges. Now, to create the frequency function, remember what you needed? Your data, which is here. My data is here. But your second was a bins array. And this is not an array. It's working with ranges. So what you have to, yes, is there a question?
Yes. For 39 to 49, should be 40 to 49?
Yeah, thank you. I have messed up. Yes, it should be. Anything else you see, guys? 30 to 39, 40 to 40, 50, 50, 60, 60. Okay, now again it looks okay. But again, catch another error if you, yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah. The pass and fail again?
Yeah.
Okay, it was a if formula, if function here. There it is. So if C5, this value is greater than or equal to passing mark, and this is my named constant passing mark, 50. How did I name it? You go to that cell and you give it a name here. We've done named cells before, right? Named cell says just go to that cell and give it a name. Now it has two names, passing mark, and it also has the name H6. You can still use H6, nothing stops you, but passing mark makes more sense, right? So that's how you name cells. We'll learn how to do more naming today. And in case you forget, which you shouldn't, but anybody can, you can always see your names in formulas here, name manager. You can also create names from here, guys. You can always do this. So the name was called passing mark. The value is 50. It refers to the cell H6. And notice how H6 has been written in absolute addressing. Named cells are by default absolute addressing. That's another advantage. It's absolute addressing. So you could have used H6, $H$6, and it is absolute addressing. But the name passing mark makes more sense than H6 even. Yes.
So let's say we change the passing E from 50 to like 60.
Yeah.
Because we use the dollar signs, we wouldn't need to update.
No, you wouldn't, right? So here, if I say I close this and I go and change this passing mark. What was it before? 60. See, things change. That's the beauty of it. I don't have to do anything. If I go back, so if I change this value here, like if I say 50 back to 50, and notice things will change. See, this person was 55 is a fail because he was less than 60. But if I go 50, he'll pass again. That's the beauty. You don't have to do anything at all. Why should you do it? So if you use a named constant, or if you use H6, $H$6, absolute addressing, you don't have to bother. How easy is that? The other is, if I had used the value 50 in my formula, I would have to open the formula, change it from 50 to whatever, and then copy it again. The formula had to be copied again. But I don't have to open the formula. I don't have to do anything. No copying, nothing. It just works. So why wouldn't you do it is the big question, okay? The only thing is, where are you going to place it? How neat or untidy will it occur on your worksheet? And it should be neat. If you want, as I said, you can always place it at the end of the chart, at the end of your sheet, or on the right of your sheet, and maybe hide it even. Maybe hide it. Or I don't mind seeing it like this. There's nothing wrong in this. It's just values you're using. You could just create a 2-line table right here, passing mark the value under it, whatever the value under it, whatever the value, and you can give it a heading, constants in my worksheet. And you can use it in a worksheet. And remember, they also have scopes. Remember, they had scopes. My workbook, you can always edit it and you can change it. Okay, remember, edit didn't allow you to change it. You had to create a new one, delete it. But that's how you do it. So get into the habit of doing small things which make life easy and efficient. More than easy, efficient. This is efficiency. And if I had in the same formula, I had used a constant here instead of a 50, instead of passing mark, I had written a 50. This is nothing wrong in it. It will still work. But then I had to take this formula and copy it, which is fine. But now if I change it to 60 here, for whatever reason, this has not changed to a fail. I'll have to copy it again. So what am I saving? I'm saving time. I'm improving my efficiency. I'm improving the readability of my program. Everything counts. You'll say, oh, how long does it take? Copy it with this black. Yeah, but it takes 1 second at least. Why would I waste it when I can do it in a better way? Why would I do it is the main question. And here we only have 10 lines. Worksheets could have thousands of records. Then will you start copying and like dragging? No, I wouldn't. So I wouldn't do this, and I won't recommend you to do this. And you know what? I'll dock off marks every time I see something like this. I will. So you can use your H6. There is nothing which stops using the H6. You could do that. There is nothing wrong there. I prefer using named constants because human beings understand named constants. Saying go to Anju's class for spreadsheet makes more sense than go to B226. You see, that's the difference. That's the difference. Like you would say, if I tell you that we are talking about Anju's class, it makes more sense to you. But if I say go to B226 for class, it doesn't make a lot of, you will come to 226 because it's an absolute address, but you don't know what to expect. But if I say go to Anju's class, oh, that is where I am going. That's how you kind of try to make parallels with something which makes more sense to you. Right? So I wouldn't even use H6. It's not wrong, but using this is definitely better. So a named constant is like an absolute address. And all you have to do is place them somewhere neatly in your worksheet. You could create a whole worksheet with only your constants. And then the scope is workbook and you can use it everywhere. That's another practice. You can put all your constants in one worksheet. You can create a worksheet only with your defined constant. Don't put it anywhere else. And you can make the scope of all these variables as workbook, and you can use it throughout your workbook with names. All you have to do, and we do that in programming too. All that we need, we put it in one place. We give it a name, the class a name, and we say we'll use everything from it. That way, if changes have to be made, we exactly know where we have to. We don't even have to go to worksheets to look for, oh, where did I define this constant? You know that all the constants have been defined in a worksheet. Even that is a common practice. Depends upon how much you're working. I'm only working with a sheet. But if I had 10 sheets and I had 20 constants, I would put it in a worksheet and call that worksheet constants. And then put all my values in there with proper names, of course. And then use them in my worksheets. And it can be done. It's not a big deal at all. Okay, so having said that, that takes care. Okay, now the frequency distribution. Okay, so I've given marks range here, but the frequency function wants a data range and a range, an array of numbers, not array of like what I have, like arrays of distributions. So what you do is, this is how you form. I've called it upper limit. Of course, when I do an assignment, if I make it neat, I won't show this to my customer. I'll hide this column because upper limit may not make any sense to the poor guy. Right? To me, I have to do it. So what's my upper limit in this cell? 39. What is this one? 49. So you have to make them correctly. You have to make it correctly. And 89. And now there is no, this is 100. Right? So form this array. This is the bins array you're trying to form. This is your bins. You're saying, you'll say, but how does it know that it just says 39? But this is how it works. Anything less than 39 or equal to 39 will go in bin number 1. Anything more than 39, which is 40 in our case, and less than or equal to 49 will go in the second bin. So it automatically creates that connection, right? Bin, this is the upper limit of the bin. Anything lower than that, so anything lower than 39, even if it was a 26, it would go here. Then anything more than 39, which is 40 to 49 will go here. 50 to 59 will go here. 60 to 69, 70 to 79, 80 to 89, and 90 to 100 will go here. So these are the upper limits. These bins, the values in the bins array is your upper limit. Anything less than that, and of course in connection with the previous one, not less than 49. Less than 49, but more than the previous bin. Now, who is the previous bin to 39? Nobody. So negative, positive values, everything will be counted under 39.
What do you mean by the word bin?
For me, just a bucket. That's what I think they've called it, like a bucket, because I don't know why they called it a bin. Bin is actually it is a short form for binary. I mean, in computer language, bin is binary numbers, because that's what we deal with. But of course, that's not what they mean here. So I kind of thought bin means a bucket. That's what I thought. I don't know, like that's and it's not an invalid one, right? Okay, so now do what? Same thing. Pick up here. Remember your frequency function, go equal to frequency. So what new are you learning here? How to create the bins yourself. In the previous one, I gave you the bins 1, 2, 3, 4. But if I say do it now, you'll say, how do I create my bins? Look at the data. Of course, I'll tell you something about the data. The marks lie between 30 to 100, or the marks lie between 1 to 50. Like, you will know about the data. It's not that you won't know the nature of the data. Okay, do a frequency. What's your data array? So your data array, again, if you like it, sure. If you can do it this way, whatever makes sense to you. That's my data array. And then comma. And what's your bin array? Don't pick up this one. This is your bins array. And put this, and don't do an enter. And remember, how did we do an enter? Shift, control, and enter. And there it is, completed. That's your frequency table. Of course, you're most welcome to check it, but hopefully it will be right. So that's your frequency table. So how many people got between 30 to 39? 2. So if you kind of look at it, most people got between 60 to 69 and 70 to 79. So the range 60 to 79, there were 20 students. So who creates these bins? Who says what to do? Of course, you have to know. The application will tell you. If I'm looking for this, that's what you will create. If I say I want all people from 30 to 50, 51 to 70, then you just change your bins, right? So select the whole thing, put in your frequency formula, and notice, do you see the frequency formula, how it has curly brackets outside? Because it has created an array, not one value, but an array of values. That's why anything in a list will be put in curly brackets. After you type it in, you didn't type those curly brackets in. You just type equal to frequency. But if you bring back your cursor to it, you will notice that they have put curly brackets around it. Curly bracket means a list has been given back to you. It creates a list. So you select the cells all at one go. So that's important, okay? It's very important, and it will just take a little practice. Select the cells. So anytime your function returns a set of values, this is the procedure. Then start without anything, just selection. Just start typing your formula. Select your data array. B5 to something. Oh, sorry, C5, comma, select your bins array, put a round bracket back, close your function, and now go control, shift, and enter. All three together. And there you are. That's your frequency table. And of course, you can make it neat, you can center it, you can do whatever you want with it. Oh, no, I don't want to merge. Oops, sorry, I was only centering it. There, wrong button. Table is ready, frequency table is ready. Now you should know how to draw a chart out of it. So that I can leave to you. You can draw a line chart, you can draw a bar chart. You have, what do you have? Your values, your bin values will go on one axis and your bar or lines will go on the other. But be careful when you draw a chart. I don't want to see 39, 49, 59 and so on your x-axis. What do I want to see? 30 to 39, 49 to 50 or whatever. That's what I want to see. Right? So when you draw a chart, be careful. To draw a chart of this, we will be taking what? So let's draw a chart so that you know. Pick up this row, right? Press your control key and pick up this row. Don't pick up the bins row. These 39, 49, 59 make no sense. This is what I want to see on my chart, the range. So pick up this and pick up this. Go to insert. Go to recommended charts if you want to. I'll do a column chart. And there it is. Remember last time we found out, courtesy, what's your name? Elisa? Dancy. Dancy said you can't change the size of the chart once you move it, right? And that was information for me. I'd never even thought about it, like never. Anyway, that was nice to know. So I'll draw it, I'll kind of move it wherever. But now we know that we should not be, now we know that we shouldn't be, and that's the mess. My screen becomes so big that I can't handle it. So notice my chart. Of course, it's not yet complete, but notice my chart. My chart has not numbers here. And of course, I want to change the series 1 and series 2. I'll have to remove it. It doesn't even make sense. I'll give a proper y-axis title. I'll give a proper, so these are mark range. This is my mark range. That's the, don't call it frequency. It's not frequency. These are just numbers. You can say occurrences if you like, right? These are just values for your marks, right? So you can call it mark if you like. So this is your mark range, and that's your, what would you like to call the y-axis? Remember, frequency is not a title for the y-axis. That's not what it is. What is a good name for axis where you're showing values? I don't know. I have to think a little. So of course, the legend is not required. So you can start deleting the legend. You can start changing the chart title. So what is it showing? It is showing you mark distributions. That's what it is showing you, mark distribution. Don't call it marks, it's mark distribution, right? And then we'll do the chart, we'll add the titles, add your axis titles. What would you like to call this? This is not a tough one. This is a simple, oops. What would you like to call it? So this is mark range. It's a range, right? Because I've shown ranges here. Now what about the x-axis title? Stuck somewhere? Mine is not at the right place either. It's so small, I can't find any place to do it. You can always move it. We know we can always move it, right? To a different, after you increase the size. What else? Now, what is the proper X title here, guys? Think about it. Now, of course, if you want to, you can draw the labels here. Remember, we always go format data series or add data labels. There it is. Makes sense. When you can do it, do it. So this is showing you mark distribution. This is your mark range. What would be a good name for the left y-axis title? It's showing you a value, but what kind of value is it? The y-axis title. Yeah, we don't. It's not frequency. These are frequencies, right? But that's not the title. Is not. I can't think of something. Yeah, but value kind of is an odd name. I mean, I would call it value, but something better. It is a value. But what is occurrences? No, occurrences is the same as frequency. Yeah, value is the first one that came to my mind. Doesn't look too good. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, definitely don't want to call it frequency. Don't make that mistake. Don't call it frequency. These are not, you'll say, but they are frequencies. But not every one of them, 0, 2, 4, 6, they're not frequencies. They're just values. This is your frequency. This is what is showing you the frequency. So again, please see that I have, and if these are too big, no, they're not too big. If they're too big, kind of align them. Your pizza names last assignment were too big. I don't want to see them. Modality. Yeah. People? Oh, students. Was it student data? Yeah, they were. Yeah, you're right. You're right. They were students. Yeah, we were doing marks distribution. Yeah, that's also fine. That's also fine, definitely. Because this is telling you how many pupils, right? But again, I don't know. It's so tough to look for a. You could always change this to 1, 2, 3 if you like. We can always do that. You can always change the range. I don't know, pupils. Number of students. Yeah, something that will make sense, but I'm so like sometimes you have to think of a title which. But then it's the same as frequency, see, number of students. But yeah, it is a better name than frequency for sure. But you see the number of students is being reflected, or the number of pupils are being reflected by the frequency, by the bar, by the column, not by the x-axis. X-axis is just showing a value. Yeah, the y-axis is just showing a value. It has nothing to do with how number of students. Yeah, but this is what frequency is. This is showing frequency. You see the same thing as you say price or you say amount in dollars. So when you are comparing old price with new price or whatever, the chart itself is comparing, but the values on the x-axis are just amounts. You don't call them price or cost, you call them amount. So that's, I'm trying to think of like a generic name. Value would be the most generic, but it's not a good name. Right? The value would be more. The modality again is something like frequency. So I don't know. For now, I'm sure something will come back to my head as soon as I eat something. There, right? So notice, that's the minimum I require from you at least. Be consistent. If this is using capitalized, this should use capitalized. Your title can be all uppercase or all capitalized. But don't mix and match. The titles are all caps and the axis titles are all caps. And your main title is in sentence form. It looks so untidy. The chart title is at position 1. So that should look biggest and should stand out. Then both your axis titles must be formatted the same way. If you're going to do them all caps, I wouldn't recommend, but all caps, then all caps. Using the capitalized style, use the capitalized style. So first letter is capital of every word. That's the capitalized style. That's for the capitalized. Don't go mark range with a small r. You don't create titles with sentence option. It's sentence convention. So you can go all caps for your title and you can go capitalized convention for your axis titles. But be consistent. Again, your chart title is the biggest. I mean, it is at the highest, and then come your axis title. You could take your legends and make them bigger. You can make your columns, you can make these bars bigger. You can put them together if you want. You can change this range from 0 to 4 to 0, 1 to 4. It's all up to you. If you were comparing using lines like you did in your previous assignment, I would draw grid lines like this, vertical grid lines. Then it's easy to read. Everything is important. And charts are really important because it's the first thing that comes to your notice. It's so visual that everybody will look at it. Even before reading the frequency table, this is so easy. It says, oh, there are 10 students here and there are 10 students here. How easy it is that to read. So you can do anything and everything you like, guys. If you want to do something to these ones, select them, do a right click, go to format my labels or whatever, or go to format my data series, which I don't want to do. And then these are the options in your labels. And in there, see if there is something else. Right? So there is a size and an alignment. I don't know what's in the size. No, there's not much in the size. This is the coloring fill. This was the most important one, I think. See here. This comes here, label position. Do you want to do it outside end and so on? Here are the numbers. How do you want to show your numbers? I'm showing them generally. I don't want to show them in any and so on. So you can kind of play around with it, and that's how you will learn to do it. And sometimes I may not know every way. I have to play with it too. I forget every time I do it. I do a right click, and Shala was asking, can you change the units? Let's see. See here, there it is, major. So the minimum is 2, the maximum is 12, and the units measure is 2. So that's why it's showing 0, 1. Let's try doing it. Let's try and change it to 1. There it is. Right, it's become 1, 2, 3, 4. So there will be ways. I mean, this looks more untidy, but anyway, if that's what you want, why not? And I don't know what the minor is. What is this minor one? I don't know. Let's see. 0.2. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I'm going to try 1 and see what happens. Nothing. I don't know what this minor is. Minor is not making sense to me. See here, you can even display units. Trillions, billions. Sometimes you don't want to write a big number. You can go short numbers here and then say in trillions, in billions, and so on. So there are options. I don't know what this minor is, guys. I don't know what the minor is. Unit is minor. And it's not changing anything. So I don't know what is being changed. 5. Oh, so major and minor are doing the same job. What the? Okay. Sorry?
Like a music notation.
I don't know. Major and minor, like both were doing the same job. Yeah, I don't know. Why would they give 2, right? Major, minor. I don't know. Oh, do you think minor comes in between, like small? No. You mean these ones? No. This is for this axis. So the major is making sense. I can go 3 here, and it will give me in units of 3. Oh, I see. Oh, I see what you mean. You can do this. You can say the major is 1, right? and you can say the minor is 2. Oh, I see what you mean. So that way what will happen, you will see 1 3, like you will see, but then I've lost my 1 2 3s anyway, you see. So it's kind of counter detecting, but that's what it is. You're right. What to see and how to do them is the difference. So it is okay, I give up. I'm fine with what it was. I'll reset it to. So if you don't like the 2, you can always reset it to 1. Right? So you can change things here. But notice again the titles, and I'm seeing it again in assignment 2. Like after I gave so much feedback in assignment 1, I'm seeing the same mistakes again in assignment 2. Either you're not using the capitalized notation, or you're not giving proper names, or your title is smaller and your axis titles are bigger. You can't do that. You have to maintain a certain format. So your title, keep in mind, the title of the chart should not be a sentence. It should be small and sweet. But of course, it should tell me what to do. So I've said mark distribution. I could have said frequency of marks. But frequency is a technical term. You know what I mean? Don't try to use technical terms. Why? Because distribution is still okay. Distribution means how it is distributed. But frequency is a technical term. We understand it. Maybe your client doesn't understand it. So don't use technical terms in your titles. So go shorter. Profit versus project profit. Don't say comparison of profit with projected profit. That becomes a sentence. So titles must be short, sweet, but complete. Axis titles, again, short and kind of what are they showing? So this one is showing a mark range. That's what it is showing. If it was only showing a single mark, I'll say mark. No plurals, please. It's a value. It's for each one of them. And this one, I can't find a better name, but I definitely have to. This value is kind of looking odd. 0 to 4, but these are just values. It's just an axis. It's not frequency. This is frequency. This is frequency. Right? So that's what a frequency is. So value is not a good name anyway, I'll think. So that's your chart. So I wanted to again make the chart because still lacking in charts, and you can do that. So this is your bar chart. I think I said a bar, and I don't remember. I think something else also. A line and a bar chart. So line will be as simple. Again, when you're drawing lines, see that you have labels. It would be nice to see vertical grid lines in line charts, because then you can kind of make sense. This is my point. This is another point. It makes it neater and easier to read. So small things, but you have to keep in mind. We'll take a break here, okay? And then we'll come back, and I still have to do it. How do I take so much long? Anyway, that's okay. Okay, we'll take a break, and then we'll come back and complete 1 and 2. We have 2 more. People who were absent here the last week, the assignment we did, Katrina 1, right? Fahad, Navneet, and right? 4. And you all submitted Friday or something. Patrick, why did your assignment come up Tuesday? You were not in class on Thursday. You said, can we do it at home? I said yes. But Thursday doesn't mean Tuesday. You can get 5 days extension. Okay. Yeah, I would like to know why. So extension means it's fine, right? Yeah, I can only accept it if it comes on time. And yours too. But Katrina also told me you were busy with the auto shows.
Yeah, but I'm not free to do the quiz, so I did it later.
Yeah, but yeah, you are the only one who said I'm also busy on the weekend.
I was, but what happened was I didn't get it back really get out of the way, or else I can't do it early. And so
that's okay.
I stayed
as long as it comes early, it's no big deal. When
Yeah.
it comes late, it is an issue.
Yeah, so I just kind of found.
Okay.
If you notice, like I handed it in so late, it was like late at night.
Okay, no, I didn't notice the time, but I noticed the days for sure.
Yeah.
Extension to 5 people in class. No, there was one more girl.
Let's see.
Yeah, Lexi, yeah. Oh, I forgot her. I didn't check. Yes.
I hate to bother you.
No, not
I
at all.
had a bit of a rough morning. So
Mhm.
when we do the rounding, how do I do that again?
Using a function, you go is equal to round. Which value
Oh.
do you want to round and how many places after the decimal? So I need it as an integer. So I don't need any places after decimal.
Okay.
And then you just copy.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Yes. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, I'm very sorry, I have to interrupt you during our
That's
rest.
okay.
Yeah. Fever, actually, I'm conducting a research on the research activity status of faculty members here at Jordan. And if you don't mind, you can hire me to fill the survey and you take me.
Oh, yeah, Tim sent something yesterday. Okay, I'll do it.
Really,
By tomorrow, okay? Not today, but by tomorrow.
anytime. I mean, during this week, these weeks are okay with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try to do it tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, because it's kind of maybe for some professor it's not that important, but for me because I have
You need data
I need it for my final project.
project. And
Yes.
you need data too, right?
Yeah, I need
The more
data
the
for that.
people, the better. Okay, I'll do it. I'll remember to do that.
Really.
No
Thank you
problem.
very much. And, actually, I'm not like I mean, if all the professors teach lessons like you will learn.
Oh, thank you so much.
Because as a teacher, you have to take steps slowly.
Mhm.
Lessons they just go right. And if you ask for it, go it.
Maybe they have more to cover. I don't know. Maybe mine is a simpler subject.
I don't think so. I mean, yes, we know, even though you have a lot of to deliver, but if you cannot deliver them clearly, then that's the point.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. I just think that you are really excellent with it.
Thanks. That helps because I'm not too good at Excel myself. I'm learning too.
But I mean, you teach it. Everyone, if you don't use it on daily basis,
Yeah, then you
cannot-
forget it
yeah,
exactly. It
it's
comes
natural.
back. Yeah.
Yes, natural. Yeah, and you are trying your best to let us know every detail. For example, random seed kind of thing, right? It's kind of programming kind of thing.
It may not make sense, but maybe
makes sense.
just
It makes sense.
some idea so that when you see it again or see it somewhere else,
Yeah.
you know what it means.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're always trying to let us know, you didn't see it.
That's why I can never finish my lesson. I'm still stuck, but that's okay. I have time. I'm not in a rush. Like I can do it slowly. I can give you the assignment to take home. It will be okay.
Thank you very much.
No problem. My pleasure. I'm glad. I get.
Just a quick question.
Yep.
Your assignments, so when they're weighed, like let's say, you know how you said like depending on how many we can get into. So are they gonna vary depending on how many assignments you actually be able to complete?
Yeah. So, and the other thing is some assignments may be as easy as drawing a chart, but some assignments may say do this, do this. So there may be 3 worksheets in it. So that will get more weightage.
Okay, and then so the assignment that we did last, I know I finished. I actually
The
had it-
pizza ones?
I had it done on Thursday. Every like little second we had in between to not.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't do stuff. I was like on the computer doing the assignment. So just because I don't know, we have so much, and I knew like I needed to get stuff done. Like I always do it. If I can do it today, I don't leave it till tomorrow. I do it.
Good. That's a good habit.
I have to, or else I start like panicking and then I get overwhelmed. But I did for the chart, instead of putting it on the exact same, I put it on a separate sheet.
That's okay.
Is
That's
that
fine.
okay?
Yeah. Usually people like to see it if it can be adjusted because data and sheets is easy to read.
Yeah.
If it goes in a different chart, then you can't remember what you're drawing. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So usually people will prefer to see it on the same sheet
Okay.
and with the table.
With the
But you know what? Things cannot always work.
It's just because when I try to expand it to make it bigger, remember how we did it last week in
Mhm.
class? It didn't fit on the thing, or else you would have to
Yep.
scroll down. So then my thing was that if I labeled them the same, then if you just flipped, you literally saw the thing.
So
and
yeah.
flip back and you could see it.
Yeah, but usually people prefer to see data and chart on the same sheet.
Okay.
But again, it's who knows, right? But it is because it's easy to read. So, but if it becomes untidy like mine, like you can't see the chart anyway, it's right here. Then it just makes sense to put it on a different chart.
Okay.
But it's not something that I'm kind of saying you should do this because you don't know. Your client is always right.
So I'm not going to deduct.
No, no.
Okay. And then the only thing I missed was, you know how you said for the statistics, the descriptive
Yeah.
statistics? Okay, so I wrote the title, but I didn't write values and.
But you left it at column 1.
No, I wrote descriptive statistics.
Okay, so you removed the heading called column 1.
Yes, and I put
That's okay.
descriptive, but I
Yeah.
didn't, you know, like the
The
specific.
specific. That's okay. It's not a bad, but at least you removed the word called column 1.
No, because that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, so at least something to tell me what it is, which is fine. Descriptive statistics is perfectly fine.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you so much.
No, you have to do the test first, and then actually, we're testing. Oh, yeah. Oh, and.
I have two. One first. Yeah, I'll do two. There are two. I already have one.
When do we use the Control, Shift, and Enter all at the same time?
When you create this frequency table.
Oh,
So you go like this,
yeah,
then you start writing your formula.
yeah. I
Okay.
did that. Yeah. I just pressed Enter.
No, Control Shift N.
Oh,
That's all. So you select everything, then you write your formula, right? And then you go. So if this was my data, So that's that's your data array, right? And then comes your second part, your bins array. So put a comma. That's your bins array. And don't press enter. Control Shift.
Oh, because the numbers will show up.
Yeah. If you only do an enter, only once, the first number will show up. We're all breaking chairs in the class. You don't look that fat. Okay, let's come back then. Can we start? Okay, so where were we? So we've drawn a frequency table ourselves and we've drawn a frequency chart ourselves. I kind of changed it to number of students that looked the most appropriate. So this was the mark range and this was the number of students. Now keep in mind that why have I said students here? Because each of these values, 2, 4, 6 is plural already, right? So you could have said marks range also here because each one has there are more than one marks. But when it is a single value, then you don't go plural. Anyway, now the second way you can do this, you'll say, oh, was there a second easy way? Yeah, there is. But of course, I mean, you have to know everything. Who knows? Okay, another way that you can do a frequency chart and a distribution without even doing any work at all is this. You go to data and use the data analysis option and choose histogram in there. There, histogram. Histogram is a frequency chart, is what a histogram is, right? Okay, so instead of going this route, which is not wrong at all, this is just a way of doing it. You've learned the frequency function because you have to know that it exists. Okay, now let's go this route. So from the data analysis, choose histogram and do an OK. Now it is saying, okay, what's your input range? So the same thing, we had C5 to something, which I forget again. So you can always remember it's C5 to C34. So if you can just type it in. You don't have to do it through the point range. Now comes the bin range. Remember, it's again doing the same thing that you've kind of done in your frequency. So it's asking for the input range and then it is asking for your bin range. So again, the bin is important. That's what is important. So that's your bin. So I've called it upper limit, but I would hide this column and not call it upper limit. But though upper limit is not a bad name at all. But I'm not calling it bins because who knows what bins is? Like nobody would know what bins is. But upper limit, a common man will understand that I'm talking about upper limit, or you could say upper limit of mark or mark upper limit, something to say it, right? And here, if you want to go to a new worksheet, you can choose this one. If you want to go to a new workbook, you can choose this one. If you only want to see a chart output, you can only say this. A Pareto is a sorted histogram. Now I'm not too good with it in terms of what it is. I know it is a sorted histogram and I read it up, but I'm not very comfortable with it in the sense I don't know how different it is from a normal histogram. Like I didn't read a lot about it, but I need a chart output. You could try both if you like. And this is these are called radio buttons. So you're all aware you can only choose one of them, but these are called check boxes, right? So you can choose all three if you like. Nothing stops you. So you can see what they are and how they look and then say, oh, this is not what I wanted. But chart output, I definitely know shows a chart. Okay. So now I've just said output range now. Now I don't know how much space will it take and which is okay. So I'm going to just kind of give the output range here. You don't have to know. You just give one cell and it will accommodate in whatever it needs and do an okay. Right. So data analysis, histogram, input range, the data that you are working with, bin range, the bins that you've created, data analysis, and labels if you choose the header or if you don't choose the header. Data analysis in data analysis, and then histogram. Okay, so again, it is asking you, does your data have labels like headers? I didn't choose them. I just chose my data. If I had chosen them with the name of the column, then I would say labels are yes. So these are these labels. I didn't choose them. I just chose this, the bin. And I said, let me see all three and do an okay and see what happens. Histogram out will overwrite. Okay, we'll say okay. And so this is kind of what came up. So as I said, I'm not very familiar with all of them, but definitely I know the histogram. So I'll kind of take this and move it down. And notice how also when I draw my charts, I kind of click it with some edges. I don't leave it dancing between two columns. I kind of click them I snap them to the edges. So notice how I snapped this to F and to M. They just look neater. They do look neater. If you kind of if you do it this way, see, it just looks neater because you've snapped it. This is called snapping, kind of giving it a position. So always snap it up and down. Okay, so this is what has come up. Of this is your frequency chart. But I'm thinking this is a cumulative revenue and it's looking very untidy. But of course, if you want it, that's okay. So if you did not choose cumulative, this will what will come up. The bars, same as our bars, but you will say, what is this 69, 79, and so on? Oh, this is what the sorted Pareto does, I think. It has sorted it according to whoever occurred first. The greatest frequency is coming first. Oh, it makes sense now. Right? I was reading it, I never tried it. Now it is making sense. Anything with the highest frequency, then the next, so it's a sorted histogram is called a Pareto. So if I only had said chart output, you will see that they will come like I have made my chart. So I'll try to do this. And these are the other statistics that it is showing. It is showing all this, the bin frequency and so on. I'm going to make it neater. I'm going to do a control Z, a control Z, a control Z, a control Z. Okay, that's a. Now I know what they're, oops. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't know where it came from. Cut. Okay, there. Are we back to normal? Yeah, we are. Okay, let's try again. So now I know what things are. Now I'll choose what I need to choose. Okay, so data analysis. My bins are ready. I'll remove the cumulative one. I wasn't interested. I'll remove the Pareto one because now I know that all it shows is a chart, a histogram. So these are your ranges, what you choose. If you had chosen the headings, please don't forget to choose labels. If you had chosen these headings, the marks range here, and it was an odd name there, but I just didn't bother to, right? And then say, okay. And now it will be much neater in the sense, it will make more sense. Oh. Hate how it behaves here. Now, of course, this is not as neat as yours, but you can always change it. What can you do? You can change this heading from bin to mark range, heading from frequency to maybe number of students. What did we call it here? Oh, I did call it frequency. I think a frequency, a better name than frequency is number of students. Again, I'm trying not to be technical anywhere. Uh-oh. There. And of course, if the heading is not showing, then I'm talking of marks. So what will I do? I'll change its size. God knows, look at my spelling, the frequency and all that. There, number of students. Makes better sense now. Right? So frequency, we know what frequency means, but keep in mind, frequency is not a general term. Like it is a technical term. Okay, so I changed that. Okay, so now if I want to make this chart as pretty as this one, the one that I made, all I have to do is do something. I'll have to kind of give it a title. Did I give my chart a title here? Frequency distribution of marks. I'll give it a title. I'll change this heading from, I won't call it upper limit. I'll say mark range, and I'll change the 3949. Or if you want, you can leave it here. You can hide this column and go ahead. But I mean, it's just a chart, right? You know what I mean? So you can just copy, you can make it as neat and clean as this chart. You can add a column called marks range. The bin name can be changed to upper limit, and the frequency can be changed to number of students, and you can give a heading here. It's just a chart. That's all it is. It's been done for you. Now this more column, you'll see that it will always have a more column. More says anything greater than 100. Yes.
If we choose lower limit instead of upper limit, would that change our results?
No, it will not. It's just a name. Oh, you mean in the bins? Yeah, in the bins, this is how it will work now. If you give 30 here,
Yeah.
and so this will count all the marks less than or equal to 30.
Okay.
That's the use of limits. The value that you give here, it is counting all marks less than or equal to 39. This one is counting all marks less than or equal to 49, but more than 39 because it has an upper here. This one has no,
Okay, for frequency, all this has to be upper limit.
logically, right? It depends on what you want to do. If I put a 30 here, for example, I put a 30 here. So I don't have a mark, I think less than, no, I have one. No, I don't. See, things will change. So it will depend upon what you want to do, right? I wanted to count all the number of marks in this range because when I created that list of marks, the marks were between 30 and 100. So you have to know what you're dealing with. So of course, if you change the upper limit, your bins array is changing. So you're saying now I want to put in bins red, blue, and green. And then you change your mind. I want to put them in black, brown, and pink.
No, I just wanted to know
What is?
For the frequency, it can be either upper limit or lower limit, but as.
Yeah, the upper limit. I mean, it is what you want to do. So I called it upper limit because I wanted to find out marks between 30 to 39. Though I know there is nothing less than 39. So this is how it works. Anything less than 39, anything or equal to, anything less than or equal to 49 but more than 39, anything less than or equal to 59 but more than 49, and so on and so forth. Right? That's how it works. So this has given you the same kind of chart and table, but of course not neat at all. And you can make it neat if you like. How? Same way. It's a chart. You can change its heading, you can change its titles, and of course I don't want to see a bin here. Bin doesn't make sense. You can remove these tick marks. These are called tick marks. You can remove them. I don't want to see 39, 49. This is saying the number 39 occurred one times. No, it's not the number, it's the range of 30 to 39. So you'll have to change all that, which is as much work as you drew it yourself. But that's okay. But you can do it. This is your option 2. So option 2 is without creating the chart yourself and the histogram yourself, you can choose the data analysis. And it will work. Except, of course, you won't get much marks for it till you give it proper headings and titles and everything. So you have another option, right? And this is just a chart. You can do whatever you were doing with the previous one. And see, when they draw charts, how they're already taking care. The title is much bigger than or stands out more than the axis titles. So these are just common things that you should be doing. You don't have to be all case. See how it is symmetrical in the sense of what you don't like the tick marks, you can remove them. If you select it and do a right click, you can remove the tick marks. I can't remember in what, but there is a way of doing it. There it is on tick marks. Axis position. You can remove it. Oh, there, no, not this one. Sorry, this one, tick marks. Major type, minor type. You can say none here, and it should work. See, the tick marks have gone. They were looking so untidy. It didn't make sense. Those tick marks were not making sense. So you can remove those tick marks. Of course, you will increase it in size. You can change this. We already said you can change this. How you can change the major and you can change the auto. So if you wanted the 2 or the 1, that's how it will be. And as you do these things, please remember to change the size of your chart because it's kind of becoming congested, right? Here. I don't want this legend, remove it. I don't want this one. I don't know if we can remove it from tick marks, labels. Interval between labels, distance from axis. That more, the word more to be removed. Distance from axis, next to axis. Anything in number, that more is looking odd. Oh, I know how to remove it. Oops, now that I know. Remove it from here and it should go from there. Remove it from the table and it will go from the, there, it will go from the chart. Because that more was, it's not making sense to us because our maximum marks were 100. So remove it from here and it will go from here. Rename these columns, give it a title, give it a proper title here. See, they have also called it frequency. Though I don't know. I would say number of students here. Yes.
The other way you can do is by going to select data
and then remove it. Yeah. Select the data series. Yeah. You are and edit it there. You're right. You can always do that, right? Yeah. Now that you say it. You never, I mean, when it comes to your mind, when you do it, you don't know where it will come. Select data, right? Yeah. And in here, you had that more. Now it's not, of course, not here. And you could uncheck that. See there. That's another way. You can select it. You can go to its, and we've done this in the first assignment itself, right? I think I remember now. Select the data. Remember how you had to change January, February, and March? That was coming from here. So you can go and edit it actually. You can select something, you can edit it. You can kind of say what you want and so on. So whatever works, whatever you can remember. You may be doing the same thing in different ways just because something just came to your mind at that point of time. Okay. So that's the second option of doing it. Of course, you will have to change a few things. You will have to change this 39, 49s, give it proper. You can again increase the size here and it will give more space here. The legend was not making sense. You can always, it's just a chart. It's just a chart. Change this title. And again, see, I'm not going NO of students. You can, the prepositions don't have to start with a capital, but I mean, it's not a big thing. It's just saying off. So, but that's kind of okay. You can put your O in small. So this one bin, just kind of, it just takes a minute. this was your mark range, but of course that's not what your mark range is. Oops. So you'll have to kind of select these. Let's see if I can do this. Give them in range. Format axis. I don't think in format axis. I think we'll have to do it in axis type. Text axis. Does it do anything? No. Axis type. Automatically selected based on data. Date axis. Okay, that's not what it is then. Automatically selected based on data. Axis position, categories, labels. Distance from axis, no. I think the only way is to go to the data then, right? Format code. General category. Special, okay, no. Custom. Let's try custom. No, the custom is not letting me do this. No, okay. How do I change it to the format that I know I can do that. I can do a little trick. I will be putting these values somewhere, the ranges. I can go and say, take the source from here. See, I will be putting these values somewhere. I have to. Okay, let's try that then. Okay, or the other option was data labels. Let me try both. Okay, not you. You right click, say select data. And then in the horizontal one, let's go edit. And let's go. Yep, there it is. There, done. So I just picked up the column where I had written this range and I said change my series. Now it looks neater. Now it says 30 to 39, 40 to 49 and so on. And of course you will have it somewhere. Like you have to put this somewhere. Marks range. You have to, because even in this table, if you were drawing the histogram, you will have to put it here. Of course. My worksheet is becoming untidy more than neat. Oops. I think I selected the bin one. Oh, bin is already in a, it's merged. Merged. That's why I took it over. No, it was okay. Why did it do a control? Oh, that was a merged one. Okay, this was merged. Therefore, it took more space. But you will be putting this range somewhere here for sure. You have to. There's no way you cannot do it. So, because otherwise this chart makes no sense. With a bin and a frequency, it's making no sense. Yes. Or you can replace the bin, whatever works. Whatever works. Either in my one, I said the range, then I showed the upper limit, and then I showed this. But you know what? Chart should make sense. So you could just do that, what I did actually. You don't need the bin. You don't need the bin. Even here I was saying hide this column, though I mean it's not as if it's really bad, but so it's a double column already. So when I pasted it here, therefore it took over, which is okay. And this we can change to number of students. So it will take some time because you're changing things, but that's okay. And of course, this cell is smaller. So at the end of the day, I will have to work a little hard on this to see how it works. We can give it all borders if we want. It will look neater. You can give it a heading. You may not like the inner borders. You can remove them. You can do all whatever you like. So now this chart makes more sense. It's kind of telling me, oh, this chart belongs to this thing, right? There is a third way. So one was doing it yourself using the frequency function. One was using data analysis. And the third way only draws a chart, but it is there. It has come in 2016. Right. So what you can do is this. In the insert chart, there is a whole group of statistics charts that they have included in 2016. Right. And if you click on it, you will see that there are histograms and whiskers, and I don't know all of them, but of course some make sense. There is a whole histogram, sunburst. So these I think are new. But tree map, I don't know what it is. It's more, I know in terms of programming, but I don't know how the chart will be made. But here, some charts have been added here, and they've added the histograms. So they've created a whole new group of statistics charts. So if I say histogram and I say OK, oh, I didn't select my data, of course. Here, you can do this, pick this up, your data, pick it up, go insert, say I want a statistics chart, and say I need a histogram, and there it is. And then of course you'll have to move it. So it's becoming so untidy, right? I'm moving things everywhere and anywhere. Go to the right maybe. Go to the right maybe. Okay, and there you are. So this is a new feature. And they had a Pareto one here. Now this is a little difficult. You'll have to understand, you have to read it, right? The reading is important here. And of course, you have to, anything that comes new, you have to learn. And I did a little bit of learning for you. Of course, I'm sure you can do that too. You all know how to do research work, but I'll tell you what it means. And again, you can play with this chart a little if you like, but I'll explain what it means. So it has chart title, which you can, it's just a chart, you can change whatever you like from it, but try to read this. This is how they read it. This is how it has to be interpreted by everybody who's using it. Whenever you see square brackets, notice how they are square. It includes 37 and 50. So it's saying marks from the range of 37 to 50, including both of them. Okay, so that's the square bracket. Now this 50 has already been included in this range. Now, of course, you don't want to see this. You can always select it and we can show our marks range again. But we have to be a little careful. Whenever you see a round parenthesis, it says exclude 50 because it has already been included in this one. And then from 50, more than 50, less than or equal to 63. Do you see the square brackets? More than 63, less than or equal to 76. More than 76, less than or equal to 89. So it kind of formed these 4 bins itself. You say, what if I don't like these bins? You know what? You can change them. If you don't like the bins, you can change them. And the change was where now? I have to think about it. I just did. This is style and color. Now I forget where you change it, but it will come back. Give me 1 minute. You could change all this, and I had done it. I worked on this yesterday because this was new for me. It wasn't on titles. It wasn't on data labels. Data labels are just labels. Legend is just a legend. How did I change it to yesterday? Did I say right click? Format? No, it doesn't make sense. Oh, how can I forget? I just did it yesterday. That tells me how good memory I have. You can change all these. It has to be somewhere. That's style. That's style and color. So it can be in style and color. Doesn't make sense. Where in this can it be? No, doesn't make sense. Data labels, no. Oh, I can't believe this. And it was interesting. I had to play a little with it. Now I can't recollect. You can change all these bins and everything. Design. Oh, format maybe. Let's say format. Send backwards, format selection. Oh. I'm trying to change these bins that have already been predefined by the system. It's this. Select data. It's that all it is? No, it's not. It wasn't here. No, that's not what I'm looking for. No, it was. Oh, okay. You know what? I have to do it.
I think you just have to click on it.
On the. Oh, where is it now? Oops. On the chart. I can't believe this. Like you practice one day and you forget the next. How bad is that? So right click on the area. Change chart type, select format plot area, do you think? Okay, is there an option here? No. It has to be somewhere. How can it go somewhere?
You want to change the range?
I want to change the number of bars I have. I can do it. I can change my bins. See, right now the bins are this. You know what? Okay, give me 1 minute. What is this? This is the histogram. Or I must insert chart Excel histogram. Present your data in histogram. You can amaze in histograms a column chart. How to use a histogram tool in Excel? It was somewhere. It was so easy, like not easy, but we've all done this. I can't believe this. How can I forget? Hmm. Oh, I think, yeah, this was the site I was at. So here it is. They automatically create a bin for you. So they told what the binning algorithm was, but you have an option. Oh, there it is, bin width. Where did it, what it is? Format axis. Oh, format axis. Okay. We have to format the axis. Now it's making sense. Of course, that's what you have to do. Okay. Okay. So to change this bin, and now it is making sense, click it, choose it, do a right click, do your format axis, and it gives you this option. Notice how you can create your bin widths yourself if you want. Right now, they've created a 13 one. If I want something like 10, I can say 10 and it will change it. See, it has changed the chart. Notice how it's now doing 37 to 47 and then 47 and above to 57 and so on. You can choose, if you don't want to choose bin width, you can say number of bins. So maybe if the number of bins was, I don't remember, 6 or 7, we had 6 or 7 here. How many did we have? I mean, I'm trying to match it. You won't be able to match it word to word because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We had 8 bins, guys. So let's try that. I was just playing around with it, and that's what you will have to do too, right? So right click and say number of bins. So you have a few options. You can go by category. You can go by automatic. That's what it was. You can change the bin width if you like, 10 numbers, 9 numbers. You can say the number of bins are 8. And then you can say my overflow bin. Overflow bin means more than this. And my underflow bin is what? So I can say my underflow bin is 39 or 30, right? They've taken a 37. I can say 30, something like this. And what is my overflow bin? I don't want to see anything above 100. Things like this can be done. And if you see, now things have changed. The number of bins have become 8. And because, I mean, they've done this 43.25 themselves. So if you play with it a little, you'll be able to kind of get a decent one, right? Get a decent one. So I went with number of bins as 8. That's what I choose. And then if I said, it didn't look too bad. But again, it's all playing with it and seeing how things can be changed. Bin width was another easy one. I said my bin widths were 10. 10 means 10 in each bin, right? And it looked like this, which was not too bad, except it started at 37 and I didn't want to start at 37. I wanted to start at 30, for example. So I could change this underflow bin and it is 30. So I don't know, like, but again, just do a few things with it and you will understand how they're working. Now you will not be able to draw it exactly like yours, like exactly. But if you play with it a little, it will be very close. You will see these ranges. So instead of 37, 47, I can say, oh, it started with 37. Why? Because its first number was 37. In the chart, the first number was 37. So it started with the 37. I can say, no, start with 30 and I can change its lower limit and it will start from 30. Because that's how I was showing my charts. But you don't have to kind of match them. You know what I mean? You're not saying show the same chart in all 3 ways. It's just a different way of doing it. So all you have to do is, if you want to play with this bins a little, go here, do a right click, do a format axis. And instead of going bin width, you can go number of bins if you like. For you. Like I tried everything. I tried both these things, the bin width and number of bins. And here I changed it a little. I said I want it to be 30 and I want my upper limit to be overflow. So it kind of started to look this way. This is how it was looking. Then I said, oh, that doesn't look neat. It is still starting for 37. So work with it a little. And then of course I wanted to change this and say select the data. And I went and I selected these rows again that I've just selected for the other one. This one. I kind of made it work this way. And it started to look a little similar. But you can't just copy anything without seeing, oh, everything is okay. Okay. Oh, what did I do to it? Oh God. Was I working on something else? That's what happens when you have a chart that is all over the place. I have 3 charts now. I think I did sit somewhere else. Anyway, so this is the inbuilt insert histogram available in 2016. Since it is new, it will take some time to get the right thing. But if you look at bins, what are bins? Just what values are. And when I said I want 8 bins, this is what it did. So I don't want to work with real numbers. So this is not the right way. And it always starts from the lowest limit, lower limit, the first number in your list. That's what it is. So I would recommend, since it's a new thing for me, to just play with it, work with it. And yesterday I was able to make it very near my chart. I can't remember now. Did I use number of bins or did I say what is my bin range? I think it was the bin range I used. So it took me a half hour or so. But I was able to, not as close, but I was able to make it quite decent. I think I went 10 here and then I said underflow was this and so on. Yeah, that's better. At least I don't see numbers like points. I don't want to see those numbers. So that's what it has done for tens. I said each bin was of size 10. You can go less, you can go 9 because it's 30, 31, 32, 30, 34, 35, 36, 37, 30. No, it is 10. It is 10. So play with it a little, as long as then you can always change these to what you want. You can show the data labels. So of course, the chart is different from what we drew because this range is 37 to 47, whereas your range was 30 to 31. So you can't make it exactly like you can. You can only choose what is available. But there is an option. So if you don't want to go frequency table and chart, you don't want to use data analysis, there is a third option of drawing a chart. But you can't say, oh, exactly it has to match this. You cannot. Like there are restrictions. There are only ways of working. Okay. So here I'll change this. I'll have to put this value somewhere in a column and then I'll say change my data label. So it's not bad again. You can change the title. You can put the axis titles. You can put a data labels. It's all there. It's all there. Here. So of course it doesn't match his mind, but it is correct. There is nothing wrong in the chart. It's absolutely correct. There are 3 people who are in this range, but you have to read this. You have to know how to read this. It's between 37 and 47, including, excluding, including, excluding, including, and it makes sense. You can't put the same number in 2 bins. You can't. You can't say, oh, you belong here and you belong here. It's logically not correct. Okay, I think we've done enough of these charts, but now you know the 3 ways. Draw your own frequency function, use histogram, or if you are only interested in a chart, then you can take it from the insert. It only draws a chart. It didn't draw a table for you. It doesn't, right? The idea is only of drawing a chart. Okay, now let's go to the next one. At last, the next sheet. Oh, what happened? I wanted to show you something that may involve a point, right? So these are marks, but the marks can be partial also. But the marks cannot be 39.926. There's only one place of decimal. So again, I picked up some random marks. I call them random because I want to tell you they are random marks. And then round it now to one place of decimal. How will you do it? You'll say is equal to, use your round function, pick up this, put a comma and say 1. Rounding is mathematical rounding, guys. It rounds. 5 or more increases, less than 5 keeps. So round it till one place of decimal. Why? Because that's how I'm doing it. And then of course copy and paste. So the technique is important. The important technique here is that you should know how to create your bins. That's the important technique. Nobody will tell you because you have to know how to do it. So what did I do? I created the same, am I okay here? 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay, there are no typos here, right? And notice how my bin upper limit, that it made sense to you. But of course, when either you will hide it or give it a better name, but this is your upper limit. So I said, okay, 39.9. And this is again, same way, it works the same way. Anything less than or equal to 39.9 will go here. Then 39.9 is 40. Right, so I wrote 40 here. I didn't care about, there is nothing between 39.9 and 40 as long as I'm only working with one place after decimal. Otherwise, there are thousands of real numbers between 39.9 and 40. Thousands of real numbers, right? But I'm only working with one. So after 39.9 will be 40. There is nothing between them. So it starts from 40, goes on till 49.9 and so on. And again, same thing, you will choose this. You will write your frequency function. You will choose your data. That's not any different, but what is different is your if statement here. That's your data. That's your data array, comma, that's your bin. So the bin is Oh, now it's over it. Okay, so here, that's your bin, and close and Control Shift and Enter. There it is. Right, and then you draw a chart. But more important, so what I'm trying to emphasize with this sheet is that your range can be real numbers. Like, it's not that you can only deal with integers. You could have any range. But whatever range you have, don't make it like, don't use something like 9 places after decimal. It's not logical. If it was money, it will be 2 places after decimal. If it is marks, it will be maybe 2 places. Sometimes my students get 25.75. They crib about it. How can you give us 0.75 or 0.25? But whatever, right? But maximum 2, right? But don't go 9 places of decimal. Then it will be a hell lot of work to draw your bins. So there will always be something. 1 place of decimal, 2, 3, 4. Too much is too much, can go beyond. So this is important. How do you make your ranges and how do you make your bins is most important when you create a frequency table. You have to know how to do it. You have to. And again, you can use the data analysis thing too. So I'm not going to repeat that, but for me, this is important in this one. I would like you to try this with me. I'm saying any marks greater than or equal to 90 is an A grade. Between 70 and less than 90 is a B, and so on. So I have 4 conditions here. And I want the grade to come here. What will you do? What do you need to do? If with compound condition. Would you like to try? It's not that easy, but like to try? Try. There is a sum if also, just for your information, because I think you may need it for your assignment today or whatever. There is a sum if. You can always sum cells based on a condition. So sum all those cells where value is greater than 5. Okay, so if there is an if, there is a sum if. There is a sum if S also. Right, so there, what is the difference? Adds the cell specified by a given set. Adds the cell specified by a given. That's strange. Sum if and sum if S are giving the same definition. Adds the cells. Oh, that's, oh, so you use the word S with it. Okay, it's not just the condition changes, the name of the function changes. Okay, it's more confusing than anything else. But anyway, so there is a sum if, just so that you know. Okay, so start your if and see if you can handle this if. See if you try it. So that's your criteria. So this is a little bit complicated condition, but I mean, you have to learn how to write complicated conditions. So anything greater than 90 is an A grade. So one job done. Anything greater than 90 is an A grade. So would you like to try it with me like this, maybe? You know what? No, not Word. At least then I can copy it. Who knows, even TextPad will copy or not. Okay, so what do you want to do? If somewhere this is more of a, anyway. I'm trying to give it a bigger size, guys. That's all I'm trying to do. I don't use TextPad to show in class. That's why I don't know where to look for it. Oh, there it is. Text, colors, font, 20, 24. Doesn't matter. Apply. Okay, there. Just trying to make it bigger. Okay, what are you trying to do? You're saying if the marks are greater than or equal to 90, then the grade is A. Else, something else. Now, there are 2 ways. Kind of look at it at two ways. You could kind of go from here down, up, bottom to up, or you can make your rules top to down. Now, that both ways are possible. One is more complex than the other, just because ultimately, if something is less than 50, the only condition that remains is more than 50. So I'll show you both ways. You can think it 2 ways. We'll do both ways. I'll do both ways with you just because it's thinking process. Okay, so I'm going to write marks for marks. What is it called here? We'll change it afterwards. Okay, so if your marks are, of course, I'm not worrying about named cells right now. Okay, just because the emphasis is something else. If the marks are greater than 90, then your grade is an A. But what if it is not greater than 90? Then what do you have to do again? Another if statement inside it, if function inside it. Is it making sense? Right? So this is one way of doing it. Okay, so now what's inside this if? So see, read it with me. If the marks are greater than equal, I'm just using this condition, marks greater than equal to 90. Okay. If the marks are greater than equal to 90, the grade is A. If it is not, there is something else to be done. So what is that something else to be done? Again, So if they are not greater than or equal to 90, that means they are less than 90, right? If they are less than 90, but greater than or equal to 70, you want your grade to be a B. Oops, you want your grade to be a B. Excel uses double quotes, right? Okay. Okay. Else what? Else what? There is another if to be checked. Right? There's another if to be checked. Okay, so now what's that third if to be checked? Okay, the third if is, and see, I'm not writing the whole range. It automatically works. If it is greater than or equal to 90, my job is done. If it is less than 90 but more than 70, I don't write the compound condition. I don't need to, because I only come to this second if when it is less than 90. So I don't say greater than or equal to 70 and less than 90. I don't have to, because I only come to this condition when it is less than 90. Now, what is the third if? That means it was not above 90. It was not above 70. That means it is less than 70. If it is less than 70, but it is greater than or equal to 50, was it? I think. Oh, bless you. Right? Right? Then it is a C. Else, there is another condition. There is another condition, right? What is that condition? Till where do we have to go? Oh, we are okay now. So we've done this, we've done this, we've done this. It's a C. And then it's an F. Okay, then it's an F. Okay, so it's basically I don't need anything. I just need an F. Okay, let's read it now. Let me break it so that you can all see it together. Okay, let's read it this way. If marks are greater than or equal to 90, it's an A. Right? Else, as means the third part. What if it is not? The false part.
How come you made a mistake with 2 quotations?
Yes, I did.
Sorry.
That's okay. Perfectly fine. When I'll copy it into Excel, then I'll say, what did I do wrong? Okay. Right. So if marks are greater than or equal to 90, that's my grade. And I stop. I don't have to do anything else. But if that's not the case, it says, okay, what do I do then? So remember, this is your third part. It says in the third part, now check if it is greater than or equal to 70. So less than 90, greater than or equal to 70 is already accommodated. It has been accommodated. What do you get? A B. But if it is not even greater than or equal to 70, that means it is less than 70. If it is less than 70 and greater than or equal to 50, it is a C. And if it is a less than 50, what do I remain with then? F. So that's a nested if statement. And if inside an if inside an if is called a nested if statement. You've nested your ifs inside the ifs. So for your information, that's a nested if. That's the easier way of doing it. Why? Because you kind of started from the upper. You said more than 90. Nope. So when you come down, you're kind of already saying they're not more than 90. They're already less. So compare it with 70. Already less compared to 50. I have no clue whether the text pads, double quotes will work with Excel, but I'm hoping they will. So I'll go back to text pad or to Excel. I'll copy this formula here, but of course, marks, it won't know what the marks are. Oh, okay. And then I want to replace my marks by what? Okay, so the cell is what? C6, right? Okay, so wherever there is a marks, I'll go and replace it with C6. Can't even, your brackets, C6, right? C6 is my cell. Your brackets cannot be wrong. Of course, your spellings cannot be wrong. C6. C6. Anything else? No more. Right? This is the formula in there. I'm not sure if the enters will cause a problem or anything. Otherwise, I'll just have to write it again. But text past is safe. It doesn't have any formatting. I had enters, so I have no clue. Okay, so let's do an enter. Okay, it copied the formula. Why? Because I think I forgot the equal sign. Exactly, you have it. I forgot my equal sign. So it was just text for it, right? Okay, having said that, there it is, an F. Is it a fail? Yes, it is a fail, right? Now, the only thing why this has happened, why it took such a big size is because of this, guys. Okay, so we can take a delete here. We can take a delete here. Now I'm going to do a Control C here. I'm going to come back to Excel, go back to this cell, and do a control V here, and do an enter. Oh no, not again. Again forgot my again forgot my equal to sign. Cheating also needs. Okay, there you are. Oh, now what did I do? Oh Oh, I have the other things also attached at the end of it. How was that? I thought I did a control. Okay, so C6. I'm trying to reduce that big space that I just created. Okay, C6 because there were enters in my text pad, and then C6, and then here because it was with enter. Okay, are we okay? Hopefully, enter. There it is. How come I have? What's this causing it? Such a big space. What is causing that big space? Why am I getting it's a big form? But that doesn't mean you have to have a big space. Okay, let's try this. From the first one, I never came back to its original. Okay. I just reduced it not like manually. Okay, so now what? Take this and copy and paste. And there you are. So what was new? Not new, but a little more complicated was the formula. Nested ifs. So we've seen if, we have seen compound conditions in if. I'll show you another way of doing it, though you will see this is better. But anyway, and this is called a nested if. Right? In the compound condition, I'll just go the opposite way. The opposite way was this. Okay. So this is what a compound condition will look like. Is that making sense? So whenever you are given conditions, I mean, it will require a little practice, guys. It's not as if it will come in a second. It takes time. If nested ifs just require a little more thinking. So do compound conditions. These are complicated things, right? It will take a little bit of time. So don't worry about it. But my aim was that I show it to you because you haven't seen a complicated if yet. So this is called nested ifs, right? I've done nested ifs. The ifs themselves are using simple conditions. Do you notice nowhere in the if is there a compound condition? I'm not saying any ands here. Now the other way of doing it. Where was I? Can you think of another way of doing it? Like you can do it this way. You can say if my marks are less than 50. So you can go the opposite way now. Instead of coming down, you can go up, right? So what's your condition? Your condition are, what was it? C6. I'll keep it C6 now. If the marks are less than 50, was it 50? Yes. Right? What is it? Else. Now there is another condition to check. What is the condition? It is between 50 and 70. So now you have to kind of say if again, but notice in your if. So we'll kind of go so that I don't mess up here. Okay, so no messing up of brackets. This bracket is of the first one. Now what do you have to say inside this if? So it is not less than if, it is greater than 50, greater than equal to 50. But I also have to check that it is less than 70 now. So I'll have to write a compound condition inside there. So if you go the up way, down, up way this way, the conditions were simple, though it was nested if. But if you go up this way, you will see my conditions will become compound. Why? You're saying is marks less than 50? No, it's a fail, right? No, go up. But in this up, what do you have to check? Between 50 and 70. So you'll have to go here. And inside this, if you will have to use your and. Right? So that becomes compound. So if it is this and, your grade is before the F, there was a C. Else you will have another if here. I'm just writing my conditions here and here. So see, now you have a compound condition here. Why? Because you'll have to write, you'll have to say, what was it? Greater than, so this is less than 50. So greater than equal to 50, comma, less than 70. You'll have to form a compound condition. But this will work too. There's nothing wrong in it. It's just complicated. Your condition is now compound. And many people may think this way. But the first one doesn't have compound conditions because I just thought it a different way. What's the third one now? When do you get a B? When do you get a B? You get a B if something is and, you get a B, and then you else get an A. A was the last one, right? Okay, so what's inside this now? The marks are C6. Oops. C6. So the marks now are, what is it? Greater than, equal to 70? and it is less than 90. There. You can make it as complex as you like, right? As long as you understand. So this is what I'm going to do so that you can read it together. Jesus, yeah, you're right. There. So read it this way now. So instead of starting with greater than equal to 90, the advantage was you're kind of removing or saying, oh, I don't have to check this now. So you're going up to down. So your upper limits are being removed as you go on. In this one, you're starting from the bottom. So you always have to check, right? So what am I saying? If my marks are C6 now, okay? If the C6 value is less than 50, it is a fail. So no, if it is not, I have to go up. What do I when I go up? So I have to form a compound condition. So the other condition was C6 is greater than equal to 50 and C6 is less than 70. It's a C. If that's not the condition, go up. The up says you are greater than equal to 70 and less than 90. It's a B. And then of course above 90 is an A. So this should work also. This should also work. And of course with all that compound, I'm going to bring it back. So you copy it. I mean, if you have to. Because it's just neater here. Here. The first one definitely looks easier than the second one, right? It does. Because I've just thought of a way of reducing so I haven't reduced the number of nested ifs. I haven't done that. I still have an if inside an if inside an if. But I've reduced my complexity of my condition. Right? So if you want to again see it kind of together, I don't know, maybe like this, and maybe like this here, and maybe like this here. So here, people who are taking pictures, there. So that's one condition and that's another condition. Right? Both have nested ifs, and one has a simple condition and one has a compound condition. Maybe I should do this for you. I mean, I will be copying it into a cell, and this is on the H drive, so you will have the formula. Whenever I finish, whatever I finish still stays on the H drive. So this is nested ifs with compound conditions. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this, except that I don't want to do it in different lines. So once you take pictures, I can start putting it back here, here, and then take this line and do a Control C. Hopefully I haven't missed any brackets. Go back to Excel. I'm going to create another one here, okay? I'm going to say equal to. If you don't learn from your mistakes, then of course, here, and do an enter. Okay, so there was something wrong. What did I miss? Do you want to accept this correction? Typo. Okay, let's say. So what was the correction? I don't know. Oh, a bracket was missing at the end. Yeah, thank you. Thank God that was that easy. Right? So now, of course, I mean, you can kind of take it till the end if you want, wherever, but it's the same thing. There it is. You'll have the same answers. So you should know how to work with ifs, definitely. If function is complicated, so there is not a very complicated one, but nested if. There is a complicated and a nested if. So where you're using conditions. But again, you can't run away. You have to learn how to do things. It may take a little time, but that's what it is. So guys who were taking pictures, please remember there was a bracket missing. You will kill me. One bracket may mean anything.
So you're saving that Excel.
Yeah, it is on H. Wherever I give it, when you begin, I put it, it's in the same file there. When I finish class, it's always available there.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the original is there and the one we worked on?
Today I forgot to keep the original, but usually that's what I do. I keep the original there and then I save it as a final. But today I just make changes in the same one. But yes, the final is there. The final one is there. Okay, so is that clear? That's the use of the if. The rest hopefully you can do. 11:45. Right, so you can make frequency charts, you can make histograms, you can insert a statistics chart. Hopefully you can do all that. We've spent quite a bit of time. There is one small more thing, not a big one, but one more small thing. You know what? I think this you can play with. You've already done such a big nested if. This is saying that depending upon the value, so if it is between 10 and 50, it is low. If it is between 51 and 69, it is middle. And if it is between 70 and 100, it is a high. I'm sure after doing that, you can write this if yourself. Try. So depending upon this number, what should you have? So try it with me. If always start and put your closing brackets together, then you won't make a mistake in brackets. I just did actually, but you won't. Okay, what do you want to check? If the value is greater than equal to this and less than or equal to this. So if you want to do the in text pad, you're most welcome to do it. Okay, here. Okay, how will you write it? It's a nested if. You've already done it, so you should know. If the value is between 10 and 50, it's a low. And between 51 and 69, it is a middle. And between 70 and 100, it is a high, right? So anything between 70 and 100, there is a range in each one of them, right? There is a range in each one of them. So between 70 and 100, it is a high. So think, will it matter if I go bottom to up or up to bottom? In the first one, it is 10 to 50. So if it is greater than 70, but the range is given, it's not, the upper range is given as 100. I could actually, assuming, doesn't matter. Okay, let's try. Either way, we'll have to do something because there are ranges that have been given. Even in the last one, there is a range, and even in the first one, there is a range. Yes.
So if there were numbers instead of alphabets, so instead of A, B, C, F, it was 0, 1, 2, 3.
Then you would just put 0, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, without the commas.
Without the quotes. Yes, without the quotes. So here there are ranges given both ways, up to bottom, bottom to down. I'm going to get the same problem. Okay. So if you are saying and, right? Oh, okay. Now reference cell. Oh, what is this? A4. No, not A4. Sorry. What was F2? Thank you. Okay. F2 is greater than A4, right? That's the cell. And it is less than, F2 is less than B4. Oh, less than equal to? Yes, less than equal to. There, that's your first condition. This way, either if I come top to bottom or bottom to top, it's not going to make a lot of difference, right? And the question that was just asked is, I'm always writing something in text, like ABCD was text, and so is low, middle, and high. If you want to give numbers, you can do it. You can just say comma, and without quotes, you can say whatever you want. So this is your compound condition and. That's your and compound condition, right? So F2 is the cell where the number is. It is greater than or equal to A4. I don't know if it is, there it is, sorry, greater than or equal to A4 and less than or equal to 50, right? B4. So then the answer is a low. Okay, so then the answer is a low. So since low is text, you can't write low without the quotes. That's this. Else what happens? So else what happens is, oh, you have to check the second condition. Oh, I'm getting less space, but anyway. Okay, so let's do this. Let's kind of bring it on the next line. Okay, what's your second condition? If, again an and. You know what? I'm going to close it, otherwise I'm going to mess it up. And this if had an end to. Okay, this way I'm not going wrong. Okay, so now the second if. Now your condition is, if your F2 is greater than B4, right, and it is less than or equal to, oh, not B4, A4, A5, whoops, A5, thank you, and equal, okay, and F2 is less than or equal to B5, okay. So if that's the case, comma, your answer is middle. Oh, one is small, one is cap, doesn't matter. You can change it if you like. What is my third condition? I'll come and check my commas, okay, or my brackets, because I know I'll mess it up because I don't have the whole screen. And if that's the case, it is mid. Oh, else it is high. Oh, now in the high, there is a condition. There is a 70 and 100. So you just can't say greater than 70. You know what I mean? You will have to write it. So your third is another if. And your third if is, you just have to write it because that's how it is. So in the other one, I said greater than 90. I didn't care. And here I said less than 50. I didn't care. I could have checked. You can be more than 100. You can be less than 0. That's data validation. You should always check it that you're not going out of range. But whatever it is, here at least we are doing it. And what is the third value? F2 is, oops, F2 is greater than or equal to BA6 and it is less than or equal to less than equal to less than or equal to 100, which is B6. So I had to check these conditions because they were given. I can't assume it. You shouldn't have even assumed it on the first time. But anyway, if that's the condition, then what do you need? You need a high. And you'll say, what happens in the else then? What is the else of it? Nothing. Leave it empty. Now look at it. Now look at it with me, please. Okay, so these are my conditions. And notice I have an empty output, nothing. So when will you get an empty output? If your value is not lying in that ranges, right? We have these range. There is anything less than 10 will be a blank. Anything more than 100. Do I have a 0 here? No. Anything less than 10? Yeah, the 5 is less than 10. You should see nothing here. It's a blank. And anything more than 100, I don't see, but we'll put it and see. So, okay, now let's look at the formula. It says if the value of F2 is greater than A4 and less than or equal to B4. You can kind of move your window a little if you like. Oh, no, you didn't work. Okay, here. Okay, so if F2 is greater than or equal to A4, so greater than or equal to 10 and less than or equal to 50, the value is no, else there is an if to it. There is a if. If the value is greater than A5, so we are here. Oh, greater than equals to, sorry guys, greater than equal to A5, that is a 51, and less than or equal to B5, which is a 69. It is a middle. Else, the third if is, if it is greater than or equal to A6 and less than or equal to B6, it is a high. And now do your brackets matching. Okay, so how many brackets?
So about those two empty brackets.
About what? Oh, this what happens if none of these conditions are satisfied? And whatever, it's not between, they're not in these three ranges, then what happens? You always have to say what happens.
Okay, so that's why.
Yeah. Okay, now let me see if my brackets are okay. This is for the first and it's I'm missing one. No, aren't I? This is my first if condition that should end here, right? Here, right? Then comes my second if condition that should end here. Yeah, 3. Thank you, Victor. If I recognized your voice, right? Right. So there it is. Yes.
Okay, so can you write, for example, if it's range is 10 and 20, so can you write 10 greater
Excel could be. You could be. It's a valid question. Maybe they don't. Maybe. What's your name? Sidra is asking. Do you have to repeat? That's what you're asking, right? You're saying, do we have to repeat the word F2, the cell number F2?
Yeah.
I just did it out of habit because in programming you have to. With Excel, I really am not sure. I shouldn't say because I can remove and let you know. Okay, we can check it. If it's a syntax error, we have to. If not, then we don't have to. But this is just coming because of my programming experience, nothing else. It's just that. So this should work. This should work, right? So let's try. So this empty one says if it is not a value between 10 and 100, you will get a blank, right? So having said that, let's get it back. Having said that, let's get it back. Oh, comma is missing after this if. There was a comma missing after middle. Okay, now let's try it. So try it from here to here. Okay, Control C. Come back to Excel and we have to place it here. Control V. Oh, with the equal to sign. Equal. Okay, let's try. If there is a typo, there is a typo. Can't do much about it. It's a. You say I didn't get an answer. Why? Because 5 is less than 10. So we need a. So the formula works. Copy it. No, it doesn't work. Okay, so some condition is wrong. F2. Something is wrong, right?
We have to fix A4 and we have to fix A4, A5, A4, A5 and all these values because it has to remain the same.
Oh,
That's the reason it's not
oh, right. Thank you. Absolute addressing.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Absolute addressing, guys, these values are fixed in the cells. The cell is fixed. So bring it in front and do this. Yeah. Yep, F4. Do an F4. All these values are fixed. B6, B7, and that was, I should be starting with calling them named. I became lazy, and laziness doesn't get you anything. And I forgot my absolute addressing. Now you're right. Absolutely right. So now you are saying F3 is greater than A. Have I used the right cells at least? A5, A4. Where is A4 and oops. Oh, it's not A5 then? How did I make that mistake? The first cell is A4. A4 and B4. Okay, that's okay. I don't know how did I make that mistake. A4 and B4 are the first cells. Then it is A5 and B5. And then it is A6 and A7. Sorry, A6 and B6. There. Now are we okay? Yeah, now it's okay. Okay, who knows till you run it. And I've already taken more than 6 minutes of your time. Let's try it. Equal is there, equal is there. Absolute addressing is there, yes. B. Okay, let's try. Oh, did I put it at the wrong place? No. Oh, okay. Okay, there you go. There you go. There you go. And there you go. Okay. And why is it saying low? Okay, so something is wrong. We'll have to check. Again, something is wrong. Logically, something is wrong. So these are okay. Middles are okay. Highs are okay. Oh, it's giving a 0 in the 100. So something blanks is not working properly. So let's see. Greater than or equal to 10 and less than or equal to 50. It's a low. Else it goes here. Greater than, oh, yeah, it should work. Greater than equal to A5 and less than or equal to B5. That looks okay. The third if. I'm missing something. It has to be. Third if. Did I miss it? No. Is there a... Yeah. Why isn't it working? Did I put a comma? Yeah, there it is. Logically, it looks right, guys. But definitely something is wrong. If this condition is not satisfied and it's giving a low, is it F12? Oops. No, that's okay. So I was here. Is it an F3? Maybe we made a mistake here too. Yeah, it's not an F2. It starts with an F. Okay. Yeah. There has to be something wrong. F2. 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 Copy and paste. In shortage of time. Everything gets panicked. I used the wrong thing because the computer is a dumb machine. It exactly does what you tell it to do. Okay, we are good now. And here, there. We got it. We got it, right? Because I was using wrong things, definitely, right? So I was using F3 instead of the cell F2 because I did a copy and a paste. And then, of course, the A4s and B4s were all wrong and they were not absent. So it does work. Sorry to confuse you so much, but it does work, right? In the sense, if you do it right, without trying to do it in 2 minutes, it will work. So now try to put something like 150 or anything greater than 100. This should also give you a blank. This should also give you a blank. So it's working. Right? Now, what have I done with this extra checks? It has become complicated. There are nested ifs and then there are compound ifs. But what have I done? I've validated my input. I'm not saying anything less than 50 is a low. I'm saying till 50 to 70 and sorry, less than 10 is a low. I'm not saying it. I'm saying if it is less than 10, you could even print something like error. You could have, instead of leaving it blank, you would have said error. That means this value is not valid at all. Right? And again, more than 100, you could have said error. Right? Because blanks sometimes don't make sense. So in the last one, if you like, instead of saying a blank like I did, I mean, that was the obvious one that I did. I couldn't say error. Except that I'm on the last one, right? And I'll have to copy them again. But it will show error now. So instead of showing a blank, you could say error, guys, because it is an error. So this is validation. This is your validation. It will show an error. And I'll again copy the formula. There it is. So you could show the word error. So in the marks one, I kind of said anything less than 50 is fail. And I said anything greater than 90 was an A grade. But I could make a typo while putting in it. I could put somebody's marks as 120, which cannot happen. And he'll get an A grade. But it is wrong. So it is better to show an error. So this is a little more complicated, has both. It has both, you know, both. Do you want to put this? I'll put this in on text pad, and then you can take a, that way at least you have it at one place, right? And the only thing I'll have to do is just put it on different lines. So we kind of broke here. So commas were missing, but that's okay now. We know we made mistakes there. Now, and what else? Where are the three? Okay, so how many were there? 1, 3 there. So those are your three, not three now. Those are your last one if you just want the picture of the last one. So I printed error instead of blank. I thought that was more useful. Just leaving it blank means nothing. Right? Now you have two options. You tell me what works for you. And I'll go that route because I know it was a lot of work today, right? You did a lot of brain work today. Okay, the option is this. Of course, there is an assignment on what you've learned today. Right? The assignment will be talking about frequency. It will also be talking about absolute addressing and so on. I think it has 2 or 3 worksheets. I can't remember. I think it's already posted, but it's not. You're not seeing it. Now you have 2 options. You can take it home and do it in. I'm not marking it right away. I'm still marking assignment 2. So what is it? Wednesday? Thursday. I already have another one. I can give you a week for it. I don't mind.
Yeah, that's great.
That's one option, right? Or the other option is you can come back to class next week and do it in class.
Yeah, we
No,
do
next week.
Yeah.
Next week. We have to do much this week. Next week's like all exams. So I'd rather do it in class.
How many to do it in class next week?
You know we have next week.
As opposed to what?
As opposed to a week and do it at home and submit. You get class time next week is one option. See, you all already. So we'll do it in class next week, right?
Okay, great.
So there is no assignment till next week. There is nothing. I've given you 2 options. You can count frequency and we can see who wins. You can take it home today and give it in a week. So it's Thursday, I'll ask it for Thursday. I'll give you a week for it. Or you come back next week and you do it in class. Okay, how many for in class? Let's see, bigger hands. Oh, so I think this is more than okay. We'll do it in class. Right? Good. I wanted to prepare a lesson. I'll get something new for you. So I don't know what it is, but I can't remember now, right? So there it is. Everything is on H drive again, whatever we did today. So I can't remember. So today's lesson has been recorded, guys.